Hello, boys and girls, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Let's Talk Geeky. And we've got the usual panel: Alec, Robin, Colin, and me. Hello. Oh, and Buddy.
Of course.
I had to actually organise the desk so he's got a seat. So basically, he doesn't annoy me by jumping on the keyboard, jumping on me. And, yeah. But, hello, what have you been up to? Hey.
I don't think he's sticking with the terms of the arrangement.
No, he's not. It's terrible. So what have you been up to today, this week? Well, I know you've been watching. Oh, what happened there?
Back to 1356 he went.
Yeah. Sorry, that was Buddy. He had actually clicked.
I was going to say, it was me.
Right. That was Buddy clicking it. Uh-huh.
Seems abrupt.
Give me 30
Oh,
seconds.
figured out the controls.
Gonna get the bow.
The dog's figured out the controls.
Yes, and he's doing better than I did.
See,
So,
when the dogs are ruling, we're going to look back at this moment and say, that was the moment.
That was the moment, yes.
When the dogs are ruling, we'll look back and say, damn, and we were worshipping the cats.
We were worried about the cats taking over, but
Yeah.
It was the dogs all along.
You know the end of the world's coming. Dogs and cats are living together.
It'll be anarchy.
Yeah.
Yep, anarchy all over. So if you've been up to anything good, I know somebody's been watching controversial programs.
Did you watch the short video, the little one? That made me happy.
You were all talked up.
The wine. Man, that was a tough one to get through. So yeah, so that I'm doing reviews of that now. I'm actually glad it's out because it gives me something to review, because that's not always easy. Because some shows I find aren't even worth the time. Like almost anything on Disney Plus is just not even worth trying to involve myself in to get through a review. Other people do, and I'm like, good on you. But so I'm doing The Last of Us. It's been a busy week, and we're talking about this before, in the green room, but for the other folk out there, I'm trying to learn more music software, which is painful as it sounds when I say it. But having been a musician most of my adult life and then not doing it for since about 2014 regularly, it's nice getting back into the groove of playing again, even if it's just for in-house recordings, which will then send out into the world. It's not for money. I don't do any of these things for money because that's insane. But so that's been the week. We almost got a dog. We didn't get
talking about that.
It's like almost a story. Misses of the Empire. You remember several months ago now, actually the middle of last year, my chocolate lab passed, and then we have no dogs. And so Misses of the Empire has been going through the classifieds, finding this dog and that dog. And she found it's an 8-month-old golden retriever. We don't know what her name is. There's like one catch, and I would get the dog, but it's not up to me because I'm not allowed to make expensive choices. And that's the catch. They want $1,800 for her.
Ooh.
So I'm on the fence because she is trained. Dog? What was that called?
Is it a robot dog for $1,800?
No, it's not a robot. It's not a robot. But no, we've seen those. Those I think are more expensive and they are more likely to kill you. No, it's just it's a regular golden retriever. So she's 8 months old. So you've got a lot of the puppy kinks worked out, which is why I'm like, I know it's $1,800, but a lot of the stuff I don't want to deal with, the learning to go outside and going to sleep and not eating most of your belongings. A lot of that's taken care of already. And it's kind of worth the extra, whatever, $1,000 to me to not deal with that stuff. But she's like, it's an awful lot of money. And then there's all the other stuff that goes along with dogs. So anyway, we're not getting the dog unless I can talk her into it after the show, which I'm going to try to do. So if I have a dog next week, you'll know I was successful.
Yeah, well,
I'm not on cocaine either. I'm really hyped up right now. I'm got a lot of energy.
He's excited.
Look what happened when you actually mentioned golden retriever. Turned his back on you.
What do you actually?
Really?
what do you actually think?
We're dogs. People like dogs.
What do you actually think of the show, Roman? What do you actually think of the show?
Okay, so all right,
Because
I'm gonna.
because I've seen a few people I've seen, like the rabbi I know, he's actually. I've seen people saying they're actually quite good.
I like,
show.
and I always have to preface my statements about the show. I have not played the game, so I don't know what the game was like. I'm watching the show strictly for what it is. I liked episodes 1 and 2 a lot. I thought they were fantastic. Then episode 3 came along, and it was an hour and 20 minutes, which is a long series episode. But it could have been 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It could have been a 20-minute episode. You take out the hour of the middle stuff and of the relationship stuff, which it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it had been a man and a woman as opposed to two dudes. It was a plot destroying or story destroying plot. It slowed everything down. It took you completely over here, and a lot of people are going to be more. They're going to be offended by it. Not just that the storyline got so disrupted that you took a big shit on your viewer base. Pardon my language. I know YouTube's getting upset about that now. I will rein that in. It's hard. I'm a sailor. It's what I talk about. So that was there were two big problems for me. There was the major deviant, pointless storyline, and the fact that they incorporated suicide into that storyline bothered me a great deal. That bothered me a lot. So I'm going to watch episode 4, but I'm so because
I'm with you with that because Judge Dredd, the Sylvester Stallone movie, I thought, why are they having a love story between Hershey and Dredd? No. And it's the same as anything.
Yeah.
See, anytime I'm watching a video, any of my old videos, and there's a love story, I don't care who it is. I go, fast forward. Don't care about that. Sometimes you need it if, like, what was the cycle one? Glenn Close. Fatal Attraction.
Yes, thank good Lord.
Fatal Attraction, right? That one, you needed that.
Done in the best possible taste.
You needed the relationship in it because it was all about the story about how she got spurned and went nuts. Right. So as part of the story, you need it. But when you've got other things and then they put a love story in, why? Because remember what they used to say? They used to say the love story is there to drag in the female viewers, and you're sitting there thinking, how many female viewers are watching a zombie apocalypse for the love story?
Think about your audience, man.
I mean, to be clear, I said that, and I don't know what you think. I mean, as I said, I'm going purely on. I had no interest in watching in the first place. I've not played the games. I've not played either of the games. I'm told that the first game was a fantastic game, but I have followed the fuss about the second game, and I know where some of the things that depending on go. I mean, I'm going off of. I mean, the rabbi give the manager. He gave a very good review of it, going through the story, and the story, as he put it, that the story was a well done, was a compelling story. I've seen somewhere else. I think I've seen someone doing it saying this is a representation done right. But the big thing that, as from what he was saying, my big takeaway is fine. So what's this got to do with the story? It sounded as if it sounded as if it might have been. To be honest, from what he was talking about, it sounded as if it may have been a very good, fine. Pull that story out and put it on Hallmark. It may have been a very good romance.
Didn't work in the bigger
but
context.
it was completely irrelevant to the storyline.
I was watching.
You could have done
Friday Night Tights. They were talking about it, and they were saying that the writer effectively turns around and says, "People aren't interested in that." So what we'll do is, and they're effectively saying they'll create a story, a really good story, and then they'll add it in to send them the message because
thanks.
It's a good story, and now because we can't have something that's all about that, what we'll do is we'll just throw it in. And the fact is, if they threw it in as just the two of them as part of the group, fine. But if you're spending that amount of time on that,
Yep.
then you're effectively saying that is the story. Why? Because if they met with them and that was the relationship they had, you didn't need to actually explain it all. They just, the two of them had the feelings for each other, even if it's part of this. You didn't need to give them the backstory and right through to what happened to them. You could have them, and then one of them could go and something happens to them that drives the other one crazy or whatever. You could still have the love story, but it's basically as part of the rest. It'd be like having a guy and his wife stoating in, or two girls who are a relationship stoating in. But you don't go.
You mean the gay lesbian sea devil?
Concentrating this in the middle of the type of genre.
So
Why would you
two points with this. One, if you have to trick your audience into watching something, that's a mistake. And two, and this is like writing 101. If you pull this out, if you pull this element out and it doesn't affect your story, don't put it in.
Yeah.
That's basic B writing.
If you got, even the ones that were actually who played the game says, well, they knew Bill was gay because of Thingy, but they didn't stop the game to say, all right,
no,
now we'll do
Bill actually went out and did stuff in the game. I didn't know that.
So people knew about it. It's drag. It's like basically right. Everybody run! Right, wait a minute. Hold on. We want to do this wee bit in the middle of right. Everybody, right? You stop over there. Right, wait.
It's
right. You've all finished that part. Right now, we've actually told you about the message. Let's go again.
Well,
why would you watch that?
It sounds if the sort of thing that could have been done if they had to put the story in at all. It could have been done because, as I understand it, Joel and Ellie come across that place just after they've topped themselves. I'm not going to bother mentioning spoilers for these shows. So it could have been done, or it could have been or letters or something. Or it could perhaps have been something that was, I want to, you could have it could have been something they could have come and they found this and one said, I wonder what happened here. And you have a 5-minute filler scene to run through it to say what happened.
Yes.
But just to finish, just to pad a bit of time out and to put a little bit to you go, oh, how sad.
So,
put a bit of emotion.
You haven't watched any of these, Colin?
No.
At the beginning of episodes 1 and 2, they did some flashback stuff, and it was maybe a 3-minute scene.
Yeah.
And they were effective. You knew exactly what they were getting across. They were well done, and it moved the story forward. So you had a little bit of information that you needed to have going forward. And it worked. They could have done exactly the same thing here with what you needed to get from Bill and his existence. You could have got that in a 3-minute intro or a 3-minute flashback inserted into the show. Doesn't matter. 3 minutes. You don't need more than that to get his part of the story done. Now, that's a big difference from the game, though. In the game, like I said, I haven't played, but I do know he actually does go out and kill stuff, and he's part of the team for a minute, and him and the kid have exchanges. So he does exist in the game in a much larger active context as opposed to just being, essentially a loner in a dead town. So anyway, I'm all
having a luxurious life, the world's falling around about him, and he's sitting there going, "We'll have strawberries, and would you like a wine?" And you're sitting there thinking, "What's the message about how the two of them live? The world's going to yell around them, but these two have got the perfect relationship."
Yes, and it was a very it was a very idyllic life in the center of the the zombie apocalypse storm. Their life was fine, which was weird. It was weird. I'm all worked.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, you think these ones are bad? I saw as he's reviewing this series, which I saw him review the first one of, and I'm actually not even going to bother with the rest of it.
I know what one you're talking about.
Oh, yes.
MILF Manor.
Yes, MILF Manor.
What the hell is that?
Oh,
Right,
you,
exactly what it
you
sounds
wait, you don't wait.
Sounds like.
I will tell you exactly what it is. Right, is there is a group of self-confessed cougars, 50-something women, who it's one of these what game show? What the hell do they call it? Real
Reality shows.
Reality. Thank you. Game shows, and they stick people together, right? And they got a bunch of these horny 50+ cougar women who are going to compete with these young, sexy young men to get together with them, right? Except for there is one slight catch. Every single one of the young men is the son of one of the MILFs.
Oh, for
Every single one of the MILFs
Whoa.
is the mother of one of the kids.
It sounds
All
like
of them.
It sounds like a bloody
And-
porn film. That's what it
They,
sounds
they
like.
basically have told they supply them with booze and tell them to relax, and then there's bits where they all get blindfolded and they have to go up to all the males, all the guys, and feel them up their chest and their abs and identify what one is theirs.
I watched. I
And you're sitting there thinking, really? I would advise you to watch Az's review.
Yeah, the first one. I'm wondering if he's getting any views on the second and third ones because I've not bothered with them.
Well, as he said, he made over $100,000 on the first review.
Wow.
Oh my
I think
God.
my first thought was not only that was gross and sick, but okay.
Ooh. That skews me out, man.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Okay, but for God's sake, what kind of woman carries on doing that one?
Miranda's saying
And
the
her
exact
kids
same thing
know
as I
about
said.
it.
Watch, and
Yeah.
the thing is, I didn't know about it until I saw Az his
Yeah,
review of it.
that's exactly
And
what I
I'm
watched.
sitting there
Miranda.
going like that.
I've never heard
Really?
of it.
You're
And I
looking
thought,
through your eyes going,
Yes.
I don't want to see this, but you want to see
No.
Az doing it because
This
he
week
is,
on Let's
you can
Talk
just see his
Geeky.
face. He's, "Ah."
Is
It
it a
is-
bloody porn film or what?
It's
Or
Car
is it
Crash
like-
TV. It is Car Crash TV.
I-
The difference is it's Car Crash TV into a jelly mold with males and females. But what we'll do is we'll make them all related to each other one day.
Oh,
So when you're
it-
doing her,
That is us.
he's actually his mum's over
Yeah.
there watching because she's doing somebody else's son, who's doing
Yeah.
somebody else's son, who's doing somebody else's, and you're sitting there thinking, really? Yeah, I mean, you can't. You have one
so
girl who's
take
actually
that
getting
show in
annoyed
reverse,
at another
DJ.
another woman who's having sex with her son. Well, she's having sex with somebody else's son who's on the island. And
It's
you're
the,
sitting there thinking,
So
oh,
dads having sex with the daughters of other dads. How's that show play out? Huh.
yeah. But it is absolutely
the only thing I think you've got to be kidding. This is a joke. Please come on.
problem
This has
is-
to be a joke show. This cannot be a real show. Yes, apparently it is. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is. See, today, man, I was saying earlier, I bought a new TV. And the guy was giving us the spiel about it, and my wife says, "Oh, good, it's got YouTube and it's got Prime." And the guy goes, it's also got Netflix and Disney Plus. You can just sign it. I says, stop trying to actually unsell it to us. We're quite happy. Just because it's got the capability doesn't mean we want it.
Yeah, we don't want that to go away.
We don't want that. But
on-
it's literally Car Crash TV, and the Car Crash TV is into a jelly mold. And we'll just throw all these people in. You're sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is a TV show.
When you speak of
Yeah,
car crash,
that's now that you've described it, I have not knowing that it existed about 4 minutes ago
Yeah.
and knowing that it exists now. I want to watch it less than when I didn't know it existed at all.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're going to watch anything about it, watch as
Yeah.
watch his
Okay,
review
I
of it,
get
because
that. I get that.
his reaction to it and his whole you see it in his head, his whole head is going
Yeah.
watch an honest review first before you.
Oh,
No,
my
no,
goodness.
no. Watch an honest review.
Yeah.
Don't go any further than that. First doesn't count.
See, the thing is, I'm okay with that because I know enough about Velma because I've seen reviews of
dear
it.
God.
I know enough about The Last of Us because I've seen reviews of it. I know
Mm.
enough about a lot of the current cesspit, toilet bowl, whatever, because I've seen reviews of it.
Swamp.
I'm happy with my classic stuff.
Yeah. Can
Yeah,
someone
no,
please,
it reinforces it, doesn't it,
It
PJ?
does,
someone
it
please flash Hollywood down the bowl?
So I'm pulling us back to a better time. So my family and I are rewatching Seinfeld. We're in season 3 now. That show holds up so well. Now, granted, they get themselves in some pickles that they could, in modern world you wouldn't because you have a cell phone or whatever. But it's hilarious. It is so funny. My daughter, the daughter of the Empire, she's off in another state. She hadn't seen it either, so she's watching it out there while we're all watching it here, and it's been a hoot. Kramer is just he's such a disaster, but he's fantastic. That's quality entertainment.
Yeah.
I did have something. I was reading the series of books I'm reading at the moment that I literally almost cried out loud at a couple of bits in. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Warhammer 40,000 universe, just in general.
Yes, I have.
It's
Yes.
the card, right. Very, very, very basic story we need to know. Militaristic universe, big war going on. You can effectively think Starship Troopers, but as an extremely basic setting.
I know that much about it.
Yeah. One of the groups you've got is the Imperial Guard, which is the army. Another group you've got is the Inquisition, which is
Inquisition.
goes
Got the word Spanish in it, has he?
No, which goes after really seriously, and they're secretive, right? So these series of books are Caiaphas K novels. They're actually quite fun. It's a British setting. You can tell this guy's a British author because he's doing this, and this Inquisitor, Amberly Vale, female Inquisitor, she pops up every so often in the books, right? And on this particular one, she's they're on this particular planet. It's a really interesting designed planet. In fact, basically, it's a planet. There's a lot of plateaus, right? And the flat ground is nearly all molten. So you've got iron topping and all these sort of interesting setups, which does in fact come up on later bits. But they're talking about she's going around and she knows Kane. She knows the hero, and he knows who she is. And they're going around, and it took me ages to work one of these ones out. They're going around in obviously there's a flying car, flying vehicles because you need to. And their pilot is called Pontius or Pontius.
That's funny.
Yes,
that's funny. I get that joke.
I didn't because it was so well written that at no point were the words Pontius and pilot together like that. You didn't quite click it for a long way, but he's just come across Amberly, and she's undercover. They don't know she's an Inquisitor, and she's got a retinue with her, and one of the retinue is her. Now, Roman, you might not get these ones, but Alex and Pete definitely will, hopefully. But she's got the one bit, and they got a limousine, and one of the guys, all of her entourage are support staff, basically our own small army. Yep, none of them are just ordinary flunkies, and one of them is pretending to be the chauffeur. Open door, letting him in, and the rest of that, and going, my lady, this one, that. And I had certain pictures inside my head at this point, just from the wording. Two sentences later, she turns around and says that she's going underground. She's going undercover as an aristocrat, Hawk Vile of Crichtonwood, or drawn out Crichton Ward. Yep, she was Lady Penelope. Thunderbirds, but I said, but another one. I don't know. You might want to. I said, it's this sort of really clever, subtle humour that I really love in some of these things that you get, and if you don't know it, it goes over your head, and it doesn't matter that you don't get it. But there's another one where they've got massive great universe. They've got a massive universe, lots of populated planet, and they've got one of these plateaus has got jungle on it, right? And they've imported to this world for farming purposes, most of it, sauropods, i.e., basically, think dinosaurs, because these exist in this universe, right? And the capital, or the main establishment on here, is called Conan Doyle, or read it slightly, Conan Doyle, who of course wrote, who of course wrote, shit, my page is switched off.
The Land Before Time.
No. The Land Before Time is Burroughs. Conan Doyle wrote. No, I had it in my bed. It's just gone. Very famous one with Professor Challenger, where they've got the jungle on top of. They've got a jungle on top of a plateau with dinosaurs, and I forgot what the book's called.
The word you're looking for is flip. It's about
my brain.
It's still within the first part of the YouTube might hit us.
Sorry. First of the Professor Challenger ones with the dinosaurs. Come on, someone's got to remember what it's called.
The Land of Time Forgot.
No, that's the Burroughs one. The Burroughs ones is Pellucidar, which is inside the Earth. The Professor Challenger ones are Lost Kingdoms sort of things, but they're actually above the Earth.
I don't know.
Oh, it's gonna.
What's the name again?
It's Challenge. It's Professor Challenger.
Is it Conan Doyle? Is it not something like it's
the Lost?
Journey to the Center of the Earth?
That's Lost World. No, I think it might have been the Lost World. I think that might be the book. My brain's gone. There's two or three minutes. The first
started
one.
The conversation.
Lost World.
You forgot.
It was. Thank you. Yeah, the Lost World. Yeah. Thank you, Melvin. Yes.
Peter was saying Lost World.
The Lost Continent is about Atlantis, 1950s movie. I think that's also based on a book as well, actually, by. I've got a feeling Atlantis, the Lost Continent, is based on a book by a Victorian era author or early 20th century author, I think. Cunliffe. I'm not sure. All this stands from a one-line pun name in a sci-fi novel.
Can you name anything which hasn't starred Doug McClure?
Doctor Who?
Good point.
Sky High.
I would say The Simpsons, but no.
I'm talking book related, really.
I don't think he's been in Tarzan, and he wasn't in the. Unfortunately, I think he passed away by the time the John Carter film came out. But otherwise, yes, he's been in a lot of Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff.
Yeah. What have I been watching? I've been still watching Briscoe, but I've been watching a lot of really old TV as well. That old, even I wasn't born. Let's put it this way: that old, I wasn't even thought up of. You know what I mean?
Have you cracked up with any of those?
My mum and dad would have just been married when it came out. So I was still years down the line. So it was. I've been watching a lot of old stuff because I got a delivery. So I'll mention it as part of my pick of the week.
Excellent.
I've been watching clips of Night Court, and I'm starting to get used to the comedy in that.
What the new one?
The new one. The new one.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Big
I haven't
Fairy,
heard
really.
anything about the new one.
I've heard one or two wee bits, but not a lot.
Okay.
I know the one it played in a Big Bang Theory, Bernadette's.
Yeah, she's the judge.
That's basically all I know, and it's basically they just make it's just wee clips, and it's the clips of so and so doing this. I wanted the review. I've not actually looked at it because even I know what Night Court was, and Brent Spinninger was basically That's when he started, because he would do the character, and I mean the old hillbilly character and stuff like that. So even I saw it. So just the idea they've remade it, and
You
what
know,
they're
they've
going to do
made
with it.
a that 90s show as well, PJ.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I heard about that. That 80s
Yeah.
show was bad. That 80s
70s.
show was bad.
70s.
Oh, it's a stinker. My son and I watched an episode. He really liked that 70s show. I myself didn't. I liked the character of Red. I thought he was funny and relatable. But
Donna.
that 90s show was a big steaming pile. I only watched the one. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Well,
ooh.
I loved that 70s show up until the last season, where Eric goes to Africa. The
Okay.
last season was pants. But the 80s show, they had one or two of the characters cast, and you're sitting there going, this is bad. Then I heard about the 90s show, and I thought, but
it is
yeah.
not even worth a cursory view. It is just pretend it doesn't exist. Your life will be better for it.
I will, because the 70s show, the first 7 seasons are good. Once Eric left, they should have just went down. Bye. Try to replace him with no, it didn't work.
No, whenever you have a main, I mean, he literally was the main character of the
It was
show.
all about, it was his story, or the group through his eyes. But then again, I always find the main character like that usually the most annoying. It was the funniest or silliest one. That you look at Fraser. Fraser's very pompous, but the characters around him make it less annoying.
Yeah.
You've got how I Met Your Mother. What do you call him? Oh God, what was his name?
Toy maker.
Barney.
No,
Well,
Barney
he was the
Barney
side
great.
He was an enjoyable character. I liked him.
The main one in it. So you had the couple with Alison Hannigan in it, and you had Barney and all that. You had the group round him that made him less annoying.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about
And
Jason
that's the thing.
Spiegel.
Say again?
Jason Spiegel's character. I can't remember his name.
Spiegel?
No, his
The
character.
Oh,
I don't think I watched one of the first couple
It's
of
the
episodes.
character's name. I can't remember. I just,
yeah, I don't remember. You know, they're making. You know what else they're making though, PJ? How I Met Your Father.
I know.
yeah, and I've seen a couple of
Making these.
Yeah, you're watching a program about a girl and her group of friends knowing that she's going to die, and it made no difference. The How I Met My Mother made zero difference.
You got
Because the last part that says, actually, she needs to go back with Robin. He needs to go back with Robin. So, in effect, here, kids, here's how I met your mother. Oh, she died, but I ended up with Aunt Robin. Really? How's that a story?
So you mean it's 5 seasons of absolutely could be taken out for 20 minutes? So we're back to The Last of Us episode 3 again then.
Yeah. But it's basically the end of that ruined that whole thing. So
Yeah.
I've got the first few seasons of How I Met Your Mother. The last season I'll ignore. I'll just say, well, it got cancelled early. It's the easiest thing because the last season ruins it. But it's the same as Scrubs. Loved it right up until the last season when they did the
That was terrible.
Scrubs was supposed to finish on, I think,
Season 8.
On a high.
Yeah, and then they got moved to another thing, and it was a teaching hospital, and you're sitting there thinking they had a good few good characters come back in and out, but the new people were they were nothing. They were this one's meant to be that, he's meant to be that, she's meant to be him, she's meant to be her. He did it, and you're sitting there thinking the characters are unlikable.
Yeah, well,
Dr.
series
Cox was in it, so
run too long. They just I felt and I know you have the entire collection, PJ. So, but I feel bad. The X-Files ran too long. It just did. Fringe did not. Fringe was great. 5 seasons. And I know you didn't like that last bit, but I enjoyed it. But still, you had a 5 season. It closed. It actually closed the season properly.
Do you know
Wow,
it was a
the series.
perfect ending? The perfect ending. 3-season long run.
Okay.
Almighty Johnston's. That was the one I was telling you about, set in New Zealand,
Yeah.
about the Norse gods.
Mm.
They did 3
Yes.
seasons and they finished it. And what they did was at the very last part, you just see this rune stone dropping in the ground, which in effect they could have 2 or 3 years down the line made a spin-off with one of the characters coming back, because they just left a wee nugget and that was it. That's all they did. It was just as everybody was going about, just this wee runestone fell,
I think the thing is,
and you're
it's
sitting there thinking, perfect end. They had 3 seasons, got to the end exactly how they wanted to,
Right.
and then
I think
they basically could have left a wee nugget to.
Yeah, can I just bring up the young ones, because that had like
Cliff!
perfect 2 seasons, and they ended it on the high with a cliff. It's
Ah,
like this other
did you see
series.
the young ones, Roman?
I've never seen it. I know it. I know what it was, but I've never seen it. It was on when we were young ones, honestly. But it wasn't like it wasn't my bag, baby. So
Pure
I
anarchy.
Yeah, the ending was great. They were on a double-decker bus. We're all going on a summer holiday, and there's a big banner, one of the big roadside marquee thing, advertising Cliff Richard, and they're all singing and no paying attention. And as they come up to it, he goes, "Cliff!" and he goes through it over a cliff.
And their last word,
That's a solid ending.
Yeah, and their last words were, "Phew, that was close," and the bus blows up.
The bus went down and just went like that, and just basically just clunk, and then it goes, "Pew, that was close," and then the explosion.
That's fine.
It's like the TV show Bottom. They did 3 series, and then they ended it on a higher note, and then they went into the live versions and done Guess House Paradiso.
Yes, I saw them twice on stage. Absolutely superb.
I think the thing is, it shows these days, and it spills over, I think, into other areas as well. That it's spilling over. I think you can see into games. I mean, the recent absolute furore with Wizards of the Coast is a perfect example. Everything is about the buck now. I mean, we know these firms in business to make money. That's fine, but you would have a series, and the problem is you get a series that goes on. Oh, it's that popular. Oh, we must have another one there. But no, we've run out of ideas. We had an idea. We've run out of. We've done it. We've got it. Got it. No, it's making money. More.
Yeah.
We'll try something else. See, certain things work like that. I'm not denying that certain things work. Like, for instance, we'll use some of the good ones. Star Wars. That had a movie and it had an end. But you could see why they could continue it, because they only succeeded in one point. So, yes, you can say, well, see the next one. Maybe the Empire Strikes Back. And then you could say, well, we've done 2. What next? Well, what happens if the Jedi comes back and finishes it and completely defeats it? So you give them the, but it's ones where you go, everybody died, look, and the next season, then they go, you see them at the last minute, they're all ducking down, and you're sitting there thinking, that effectively ruins the first movie, because you've just said these people are dead, but you wanted to bring them back. So what did you do? Oh, well, they only get injured or something stupid like that. And you're sitting there thinking, or they were the clones of the first one. You're sitting, no, it ruins the first movie, because the first movie was self-contained and it was meant to end. But it made enough money that they want a continuation. Right, let's see where they made a mistake that they left a bit open for us. Oh, dear. Okay, but we want all the cast. But they killed them all off. Something had to have changed.
Right.
They missed something. And that's where they actually start ruining stuff. It's the same as when they make prequels. Right? We're making a prequel. They need to get all the cast together. Actually, they didn't all meet until this movie. That doesn't matter. Well, what we'll do is we'll get so-and-so to build him, and we'll get him, but we'll wipe their memories. And he meets him when he was a kid and influences him. you're sitting there thinking, are these people actually mental?
Yes.
You know
Well,
what I
the
mean?
thing is, I mean, if this way, I think Enterprise, for me personally, Enterprise worked as a prequel because it was 100, 200 years before the original series. So you knew the shape of what was going to happen in 200 years' time, 150 years' time.
Yes, but the problem
but
is the ship
you-
looked a bit off.
Well, yes, I mean,
Everything
yeah,
inside looked too.
definitely.
It looked better than the original, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is exactly. I mean, that I think is more of a problem of production values than story. You know, it's like, I mean, they could have. What amazes me about that is that they did that on the budget that they had. I don't know what kind of budget Vic Mignogna had. But being as he was crowdfunded, he managed to make season 5 of Star Trek as a web series called Star Trek Continues. If you've ever seen
that was
Star
great.
Trek Continues, that's season 5 of the original series. I don't care that none of the cast are the same. You know,
No, they did a good job with that.
they did a
Production
fantastic
looked
job.
exactly the way Star Trek looked. The
Yeah.
storylines, you had some carryovers. You had some really good casting in there, aside from the replacement cast for the show itself. It was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
That's doing it right. I wish that had been an actual series. But if it had been, they would have found a way to completely muck it up, and they would have been terrible because if you give it to the executives.
The only thing that I don't think worked for me with Star Trek Continues is when they had a ship's counselor. That's the only thing I think that didn't work. Star Trek Continues. Because I thought, well, why do you need to bring this?
Well, they had one in Next Generation, so
yeah. But hold on a second here, but this is 100 years before Next Generation. And of course,
that's the problem. It's just a case of you're sitting there thinking, I wish prequels, continuations, like Star Trek did leave itself open to continuations because it was a 5-year mission yet, but there's plenty of other ships, so they could do a different thing.
They created the
as
universe.
long as they keep it within and don't mess around with, like, for instance, suddenly they've got holographic technology where they communicate with holograph when they basically had it on the screen and stuff like that. You're sitting there thinking, really, it's that type of thing. And I just, to me, I'm not interested in something that's going to screw over what I like. It's like Miranda had said, Rogue One, not good because it ruined the first one. In effect, it's turned around and says, Princess Leia, somebody says, here, you take them. Okay, I've now taken the credit for all these. All the people died. It was me. It got these. In effect, the effect made her just somebody was just took the credit. So
I actually like Rogue One. I'm gonna be the dissenter. I enjoyed Rogue One. I thought it was a fun movie. I really liked actually the last scene where Vader is pursuing them, and you have that exchange.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I liked it. I liked the movie. I know. I'm a failure.
I've only got one thing to say to that.
I still liked it.
I've only got one thing to say to that.
No, just sorry, some Gary's comment.
Really? Come on. Ejected. So I'm going to ask you a question. This is kind of a fun topic. Of the original Star Trek series, I am not including anything after the Kelvin universe was created. Of the original, from Star Trek to Enterprise, what is your least favorite? I think you're planning on using that on me at this point, aren't you?
Yeah.
Of those original series, what is your least favorite?
Voyager.
See, Voyager's my guilty pleasure.
Oh, it's not that I don't enjoy some. It's not that I don't. It's really good stories in it.
I think it's bad. The characters are awful, but I love Voyager.
The thing is, Voyager's the last one, right, of the Star Trek shows, apart from Enterprise, and it's the last one. And it's the first show in all those shows in original series animated series, and yes, that does count. Next gen, DS9. Voyager's the first one, in which case they do actually go where no one has gone before, or at least where no human can.
So did the crew of Red Dwarf and what the hell?
Yeah, but it's not in their opening show. What I'm saying is, I'm not
Peter
dissing Star
Sherrington
Trek.
and
I mean,
friends, apparently.
it's great, but Voyager is the first one where they are literally going. I mean, yeah, Deep Space Nine, they had the Delta Quadrant, they had the wormhole, but they could come back through that one. But
That was a Gamma
still,
Quadrant.
Gamma Quadrant. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Delta's Voyager wasn't. But although
I didn't give a Delta Quadrant.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
The thing that gets me though is if they're quadrants. If you go into the center of the galaxy, surely all 4 quadrants must meet at the center of the galaxy because it's a pie shape, isn't it? So if you go straight into the center of the galaxy, all 4 quadrants are going to meet there, so they're not going that far apart. It's only if you're on the edge of because we're on the edge of the galaxy, the edge of the pie. But
yeah. See, the thing is with that extremely good question is, if I was taking everything all in one, I would say Enterprise. But every one of them's got good and every one of them's got bad.
Yeah.
We can't forget Spock's brain.
Yeah, we need bugger off to.
Come on, Spock's brain was fantastic.
Right.
What is the worst writing ever?
Enterprise, the first season was just cringe. And then the last part where they just turn off the holodeck and you go, we've been waiting for that bloody speech the whole time, and you're switching it off.
So
I'll tell you what, speech?
That is
Voyager. Voyager. The condescending or I hated the characters because the characters weren't very nice, and the ones that were very nice were just you're sitting there thinking, really? You're that nice to people who treat you like that? Neelix was 7 or 9. 7 or 9 was arrogant, and people let her off with it because she was hot. That was the only reason that I really like her, because she's an arrogant bitch and she basically is cheek personified. Nice. But in effect, she's not, and to me, she's not a nice person. But she got away with it because she was hot. If you had put anybody else in that place, it would have been we all love to hate this character.
I'm sure
you've got other ones like to me, Tuvok was my favorite character in that.
Did I ever tell you my Tuvok story?
No.
Well, this is funny, but not funny. It's a little funny. It's mildly amusing to Star Trek people. So back when Voyager was on, I watched it regularly. I actually liked Voyager as a series. So I'm okay with all the characters except for what was her name, Chris, the stupid girl thing that died, Neelix's girl. I didn't like her.
Yeah, I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah.
So back to Tuvok though. There was a rapper called Tupac Shakur, who you may be familiar with.
Yes.
So on the night he was murdered, I was like, wow, that's surprising. And Mrs. of the Empire, she was like half awake when I went to bed. And I'm like, so Tupac got killed. She's like, Tupac died? Like I said, it's kind of funny. It's mildly amusing. I was like, no one took Tupac out.
I think Voyager should have had one more episode.
Really?
I mean,
I thought it was a good conclusion.
I think it was a good conclusion. Yes, and the conclusion it worked absolutely.
Yes,
set a course for home, and when you get everybody coming in with it. But I think it would have been nice to have had it would have been nice to have an epilogue episode.
Well, a debriefing.
Yeah, and in fact, it's just they get back, and when they actually get back to Earth, and see them all getting back and getting their family. I think it would have been a nice coda. I mean, it ended very well there. Yep, they get back. Perfect, perfect callback. Set course for home. Exactly the same way she ended the first episode or the second episode. But I think we were saying with the last episode of Enterprise, That's actually there was one thing about that which I think is an example which sets a good example. One thing and only one thing about that episode. Rick Berman came out and said, "Yes, sorry, I was wrong.
Yep.
We tried to do the right thing, but it didn't work." That is an example of what people should be prepared to do. So, okay, we tried something, we tried it, we thought it was going to work, but it doesn't. Rather than no, you're isophobe if you don't like it.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I agree with Peter. It was awful, and do you know something? It was the start of a trend which we see now. Velma is probably getting to the end, where Kess lived up till she was about 8, and she was 1 when she was in a relationship with Neelix. So, and halfway through Voyager, or before her turn on Voyager, she went through puberty. So he was dating a kid.
Yeah.
It was creepy. It was a bad character.
He was dating
It's like
a
a
kid.
layer cake.
But he was effectively dating a kid. That was effectively, they were normalizing that, and that's when it started. And I think you see where it's ending now.
Yeah, I can see.
I dislike the case, and I disliked the relationship. Every time I saw that, it just made me sick, because in effect they were saying, yeah, just because they age quite quickly, but in effect they showed her going through puberty, so he was dating someone and having a relationship with someone who hadn't gone through puberty.
I thought Kess was boring.
I thought what they tried to. I think if I'm being generous, I suspect what they tried to do with the Kess character. I mean, bearing in mind that this wasn't the 2010s, this was what, the 1980s, early 90s, when
late 90s.
Was it late? Oh, okay, so it was getting towards this area.
Yeah.
But try to actually envisage something that is very alien that we can still understand. But as you said, Pete, in the way it was written, and you come up with these things, and if you actually think about it, you go, ugh.
Yeah. If they had actually made her 2, then you could have said she like me, but no, it was just creepy. The other character I loved, I must admit, was the Doctor.
Oh, I liked him a lot. Yeah, Robert Picardo was fabulous.
Him and Tuvok were my favourite too. I loved Tuvok, but I just could not abide 7 of 9.
7 of 9 were my favorite too.
Yes.
Oh, I'm here all week.
He was a sex symbol.
I apologize.
Yes, you can always tell she was the favourite one that they wanted to push, because they sprayed on her costume every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't really dig Chakotay either, though. Chakotay was kind of like...
Chakotay was annoying.
Yes.
Having the vision quests and stuff like that. Sorry, it's sci-fi, and you're actually saying that.
They had some, I mean, like you said, like a lot of them, they had some very good ideas. They had some really good ideas. They had some really bad ideas. We're not going to mention Warp 10 at all. Warp 10 never happened.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's bad in everything.
Neither did Tuvok.
Yeah, look at Deep Space Nine, right? Yeah. Initially, I couldn't get into it because it just, with the Cardassians and the Federation and, oh God, what were they called?
The Dominion.
Bajorans?
No. Right?
The
Bajorans.
The Kieran and the Reese.
Yeah,
The Bajorans.
The Bajorans. Sorry, I didn't even hear what you were saying.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
right. But I disliked it. It just seemed to be a case of, so you're effectively saying those are the bad guys, but, and then they're basically, remember, in Britain, roughly about the time they were having the troubles in Ireland, and they used that as part of the story about how freedom fighters actually win in Ireland. And you're sitting there thinking, they're putting them as them. If one man's freedom fighters, another man's terrorist.
No,
and it was that attitude of it. And I didn't like it initially. But the story was good because it was quite cohesive. The favourite characters were Rom Quark, and
Nog.
Nog. They were
Worf.
my three favourite characters. They were great because they were the outside looking in. And any character, and even things like you had in the bar, there was always the big alien, and it was the same guy in the suit every time he was in the bar.
What? No.
And they never gave him a line the whole
Yeah,
time.
no.
More, yes.
No, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's the part to have. You don't
Yeah.
have to. You're not going to mess it up. You get to hang out in a bar. Everybody wins.
You just wear a suit and that's it. But basically, I liked wee bits like that. I hated the emissary stuff. They go through the wormhole, and he's a chosen. That was the part of it I hated throughout the whole thing. And then I hated the Bajorans, the leaders who turned evil because she was trying to do good. There's an allegory. I mean, no matter how bad they are, they're just trying to do good.
Yeah,
Really?
Golda Carter
If
should
you
have
actually-
been shot.
It's just, it was annoying.
Yeah.
There was bits and pieces annoying. The storyline was quite good, but there was enough annoying parts in it. It was one of those ones. If I missed it, I didn't bother about it. I would
Yeah.
catch up later on. There's certain
Well,
programs like that. If I miss, and so each of the programs had their good and bad, and that was the thing. The worst for me was my favorite as well, which is
That's
Voyager.
funny.
And it's because it's a guilty pleasure, because I know I hate most of the characters. I know I hate
That's
certain
hilarious.
storylines
That's
in it,
weird, dude.
but I can't stop watching it. I watch it at least once a year.
I'm sure I saw. Was it? I don't know if it was. I'm sure I saw somewhere, and it might have been in one of the novels, a reference to Admiral Kim. And I'm thinking, well, he must have been about 300 at the time because he was an ensign for 7 years.
Yeah. Well, she had to marry what's his name, Leonard Nimoy's son. She got busy. She did. She yeah.
Did she?
Dax
Well, no,
married Leonard Nimoy's son.
oh, did she? Oh, right.
See,
Yeah,
I preferred Jadzia Dax rather than the
Yeah.
was it, the younger one.
I didn't prefer any of the Dax. You'll cancel me again. I hated GS9. I hated it. I hated every aspect of the show. There wasn't one thing about it that I liked. And for me, it's like TOS, Next Gen, Voyager, Enterprise, then DS9.
Did you notice I didn't even mention the Next Generation? Because I found it boring and dull.
Really?
I remember when Next Generation came out. I remember having been a fan of the original series. Yes, what I said, Jim. Yeah, I understand. In canon, Harry Kim's autobiography is called 7 Years an Ensign. I mean, I remember there was a behind the scenes. How do you get these things? And I remember I've got this vague memory in mind of 1980, whatever it was that Next Gen came out, of the crew getting around and saying, and I think it was Jonathan Frakes. So to the next crew of the Starship Enterprise, and I remember year old me being somewhat annoyed at that. And now I can look back and go, no, okay, there's other reasons I didn't particularly like, didn't hate to Jonathan Frakes' character for a while. Oddly enough, linked to the fact that at the same time he was in North and South, and he was right, and his character was right getting that.
See, but
and the lucky bastard's married to Jeannie Francis.
Yeah. See, the good thing is, we know Roman's actually got no taste because he actually thought Wesley was the best in Next Generation, so he didn't really like him.
No. Pull me out now. Pull me out. Oh, I hated Wesley so much. Oh God, I hated Wesley. I still hate Wesley. That's the thing. I've never not hated Wesley. It did take me Wesley aside, we're going to put Wesley over here for a minute. I did like. I've lost my train of thought. I saw 7 of 9 again, and my mind went somewhere. Season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation was really hard to get. That was not a good season. I'm amazed. I'm glad they got a season 2. That's one of those series I think did run too long, though. I think they probably could have.
Yeah.
And maybe a 4-season. The problem is you had that first series, and you needed to make up for that because it just wasn't good. Seasons 2, 3, and 4, I think were really good though. But the longer it went, it just for me, you would have like episodes that were good, but seasons that were like, oh, we're still going, aren't we? Oh my God, please.
Well, Roman, can I just mention one thing about season 1 and 2? Most of the scripts in season 1 and 2 were revamps of Star Trek Phase 2. That never took off.
That makes sense.
So
that makes
they
sense.
had to find the material somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But season 2 was good. Season 2 was. I think a lot of it was production, and the actors felt more comfortable as the characters. Like Jonathan Frakes. You mentioned Jonathan Frakes. I'd never really done the character of Will Riker. I liked him in one episode, the best of both. I guess 2 episodes, the best of both worlds. Parts 1 and 2, which to me is just prime freaking Trek. Those are my maybe my 2 favorite episodes of any of these series.
But I can't actually see anything too bad because my brother was a big TNG fan. He had the model where you bought bits and pieces every month and built up an enterprise. He had every video sitting along his shelves. He still got them in his attic. Every single video that came out for it because it was a video collection, so you got a video and a piece of the enterprise.
Wow!
Cassettes or videotapes?
Videotapes, yes.
Whoa!
That was how long ago it was. So he was getting the videotapes 1 a month, and he was getting a piece of the enterprise that you built up gradually. So you would maybe get in the cell, and then you would get the bits to clip into the cell, and it was a gradual build up. And he bought every single one. He still got the collection up in his attic, and he's still got the Enterprise, which still lights up. But
neat. That's good.
He was a big
I gotta
fan.
dig that stuff out. I keep meaning to. I have a couple of models up there. I have a regular old Enterprise, and then not A, B, C, or D, just regular Enterprise. Then I have a model of D, and then I have I think it's up there still. It was a toy, and they've actually just re-released one of regular Enterprise that lights up. You press a button, it makes phaser sounds. The deflector dish lights up, all the cool things on it. It may still be up there. I haven't been in the overhead in a minute because it's a little creepy up there, and there are spiders. Oh, that's lovely. I like that. They're selling phasers now. Do you have the phaser? Yeah, man. That's the thing. That is great. Wait,
I just want the model of Enterprise from the film.
You have a tricorder too? Wow, that's awesome!
I bought them all for my father-in-law, who he's a big Star Trek fan. So when we used to go to Comic Cons, I've even got his badge, which is over here. It's there.
Oh, excellent! Yes,
right, because my father-in-law's a minister. I thought the medical badge because it's got the cross on it.
Cool.
So he had his blue jumper, which his wife put in some stripes on, and I got him all these just so he could actually sling me. Cool size.
Those are.
So I've got a question.
It's a small one, but that's a third size. It's not a proper size for the tricorder. I've got they work when I put the batteries in them, but I don't obviously.
Cool. Yeah, you don't keep batteries. I do the same thing. I don't keep batteries in them because then they go old and they corrode.
So Roman and everyone else, Roman. Will Wheaton, sorry, Wesley Crusher or Will Robinson?
Will Robinson, easy.
Will Robinson.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
I loved that series. That series was great.
Yeah, it was.
I used to watch it every day before I went to work when I was a young man.
And you mean basically Dr. Smith was just,
The pain, the pain. Oh, the pain, the pain. Yes.
Dr. Smith.
It's weird because you think about it. Will Robinson got this confusion because the guy called Will was one's name, one's the character. Will Robinson and Wesley Crusher are in many ways the same type of character. I mean, you know, Wesley Crusher could always be Will Wheaton 5 years later. Young kid juniors. It's just they're written so differently.
Yeah. Well, and and it's because they tried to make. Well, Wesley was he was just annoying.
Yeah.
For me, he was annoying. Some people may have loved the character. I thought he was irritating right off the get-go. And I thought Picard's reaction to him, yes, I am. I thought Picard's reaction to Wesley was very appropriate. He is not going to be on my bridge. Basically just. And then he got in there and just weaseled his way in. And then Wesley got a regular uniform.
That's why he was called Weasley. That's why he was called Weasley.
Can I just say something? It's I know this is going to be a Dad's Army reference, but you got Wesley Crusher and Picard who say, "Damn it," you know, it's like with Pike and Captain Mannering.
Shut up, Pike.
Yeah, stupid boy.
I mean, must admit, much as Will Wheaton is an absolute filling blank here. He did have a point, as he said himself, that the writers did not know how to write Wesley. Mm-hmm. They put him in there
they had the
as
idea of having a very smart young.
They put him in there,
and they just did not. They assumed genius meant annoyingly because he's a genius. Adults won't understand him.
Well, not only that, but they put him in there at least in part as a character to grab younger viewers.
Mm-hmm.
But as he said, they did not know how to write him. You know, I mean, Will Wheaton, as I say, much as I don't like the guy from a lot of things, I did feel for him when he said, you know, he got a lot of shtick because of the character, because people didn't like his character and people couldn't, people didn't realize, couldn't work out the character and the actor.
Initially, I disliked Wesley Crusher. Didn't have an issue with
he was fine.
The arrogance behind it. But now, I mean, Ready Player One, favorite book, read by Will Wheaton, and it basically the way he reads it, you could just hear the geek behind him. Now, when he actually opens his mouth, you're sitting there thinking, that's the problem. You're basically, yes, his character was annoying, but he didn't write it. He just acted it. Not an issue. So we disliked Wesley Crusher. Doesn't mean we disliked Will Wheaton. Then
at the time.
Yes.
This goes back to what we were talking about with The Last of Us, episode 3. If you take Wesley Crusher out of Next Gen, does it change the show? Not really.
No. Probably increases it. It's less boring.
You have one less annoying character. That's always a good thing.
Yeah. Now all you need to do is take a counselor out, and then all you need to do is take.
Oh, Deanna, man. Even the curves couldn't save that character. She was annoying all the time. And her mother was annoying, even though I like the actor.
The emotion. Shut up! I don't care.
In her relationship with
Will
Riker, hated it. I liked it better when she was with Worf. Because Worf wasn't annoying at all. I actually liked the character of Worf. I liked that he grew as a character.
I liked Worf. My favorite was Tasha Yar.
I liked Tasha too. She only lasted a minute. Yeah, Tasha Yar was great.
She wanted out because she got a film, and the film was the one with Sigourney Weaver. She played remember Sigourney Weaver played, and she had it was the one. Sigourney Weaver was a reporter who was the nasty one who broke her leg, and she was taking all the credit for this girl's work.
Working girl?
It could be Working Girl. She had the bit where she was the girlfriend of Sigourney Weaver's husband.
And that's She left Star Trek for that?
Because she got a movie.
For a
She got
movie we don't remember the proper name of?
I can't remember it,
I've seen
but she
that.
was also in Bristol County Junior, one episode as a sheriff, and she was really good.
Well, she was also in Pet Cemetery.
Uh-huh.
But if you look back on Denise Crosby, her acting career, it's not like magnificent. If she had stayed on Star Trek, you would remember her much more solidly.
She came back
the
because
sci-fi universe.
So she did. She came back because I think she realised that. But she got it's the same as a lot of them. The one that played Eric Foreman, he left because he got to Spider-Man, and most people hate Venom from that because they thought it was his character.
I didn't even know he was in it.
But it was the fact is, you're sitting there thinking,
Eric Foreman. You know what else he was in? He was in Predators.
So
he was the serial killer.
Help couldn't save him. But the thing is, it's the same as it happens across the board here. Somebody gets a movie deal and they think, this is my big thing, so I'm quitting that.
Yeah.
And then they get the movie lasts 10 minutes and it goes boom, and then they go, where's all the jobs coming? Well, you just quit one. So who's going to hire you if you're going to quit next time you get a job?
Well, I could think of two famous cases, one of which the
that was a good episode. Yes,
one of which the actor concerned was handled it much better than the other. I've forgotten the guys. The guy that went on to be in CSI, David Caruso, apparently, literally thought he was going to get great. Literally walked off the set on his last day of filming on Hill Street Blues. No, NYPD Blue, and didn't look back. And his career went nowhere for ages.
Yeah.
Michael Prade, if you listen to the Michael Prade on the commentaries to Robin of Sherwood, as he puts it himself, I'm paraphrasing slightly because I can't remember exactly. Of course, I'm well known for making really great choices in my life, and I left Robin Hood to go into Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in most of the characters, I think in Dynasty got killed off within one season or something.
Yeah,
so, but he laughed. He laughed about it. He actually made fun of himself about that for saying, I made some really terrible choices.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Denise Crosby said she'd left because she wasn't getting any good material to play.
That first season, nobody had any good material.
I thought it was because she got the movie. That's what I had heard. That is because she got a movie offer and she thought that was going to take her away from it. And the fact that she didn't get any good material, she thought it was going nowhere. But
now, Retro Doc and Peter Harrington are making some really good points here. Yesterday's Enterprise was
I love that.
Friggin' fantastic.
Yeah.
I liked yesterday's Enterprise. That was really good. The fact that it basically the ship's coming through, Captain, and then he turned around and there's Tasha standing back.
Yeah,
everything just changes like that.
You think, what the hell's that? Yeah,
what a transition! That was just perfect because you weren't expecting it. He turns in and then. What's happening? And then suddenly it's a case of they didn't go, yes, Captain, it suddenly changed this. It was a case of guidance coming in and trying to work it ourselves. So that's when you find out what is happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of what they would do now. Yes, Captain, if it comes through, we will all actually, you'll not know him and here. And
you didn't get all the exposition. You just had to accept it for what it was with Guinan, who was another character I really don't like very much.
I don't like
being the only one who had a sense, and she just knew it was off. But you didn't get a whole, the whole thing. But the episode was also just written very well.
When come out and explain to them all. She basically just says, as you said, something's off, and then she says, Tasha went up to her,
you're not supposed to be here.
You're not meant to be here. And that's why she went back, and it was a good. It's better than the Kelvin. Timeline.
So much better.
See, the Kelvin timeline, the idea of it to me was really, really good because it was a way for them to reboot and do things that did not affect the original show. It was a good idea.
Yes, 100% right, dude.
And they just basically screwed it up.
Badly implemented.
Oh, yeah.
Like for instance, the Kobayashi Maru. Kirk had cheated. We didn't have it. And you think nobody noticed him sitting there with an apple?
Yeah, looking like a.
And then suddenly it goes click, and then he goes, okay, right, do this, do that. I'd be sitting there thinking, you are meant to be training as a captain. This is meant to be a life or death thing. And you're going, and nobody's actually saying, I think he's cheated. Really? Yeah. You could not work that out yourself?
Huh.
And that's
there were so many things
started going downhill. Then the bit with he's got the green girlfriend because yes, he had it in the original series. Now we brought it forward. Uhura is actually now dating Spock.
Now there were so many things about the Kelvin timeline I didn't like. I also, and this is again, I have to go back to being a military guy. The way that their promotion system. Sorry, Zach. I know you're Canadian. I understand. I get it. It's hard for me. It's hard.
Okay, then you.
So I'll just start talking like this. So
we should if we end every sentence.
Can he take it?
Will Zach's understand it? Should we if we end every sentence by saying a. Hey,
yeah, that's like it breaks down the barriers for him. But so the Star Trek Kelvin universe, the way they promoted their officers was utterly and fantastically ridiculous. It made zero sense. Even from a normie, not military person looking at what they did, it's like, so now he's just the captain. That is completely illogical garbage.
Absolutely.
It's just what the hell are you doing? He was in a bar getting in a fight like 3 months ago, and now he's your XO because Spock. It just was so terrible.
There's have you ever read Starship Troopers? Not watched, read.
I have.
There's a bit in that you'll remember. In fact, as a Navy man, you may remember where they're relating back to saying what's the largest number of layers of command ever taken out in one go. And one of them mentions an attack in the Bug War, and Dubois actually refers to a real event where you got in some in the Napoleonic Navy, where you got 12, 13-year-old kid who was I think that he would have been an ensign at the time, and his captain gets injured. He picks he drags his captain out of the line of fire, and while he's dragging his captain out of the line of fire, every other officer in the fleet gets taken out, and he actually gets executed for diverting for cowardice, for leaving his role as commanding officer at a 13, 14-year-old, and this apparently was actually taken from Napoleonic history.
That's a very different. That's a scenario as well.
Yeah,
also, if you get a field promotion, and then we'll just call it field promotion.
Yeah.
For the sake of everyone out there, if you get a field promotion because of an incident like that, where you are now suddenly in charge of a battalion or a ship or whatever, that is a field promotion. That is not your routine rank. That is what you are for the duration of, so you end up somewhere safe and everybody assumes their normal roles.
Yeah.
And you get a new commanding officer and a new XO and all that stuff.
I'm
field promotion, big difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I agree exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. You do that, and then you go back, and you either get knocked back down, or you get pushed somewhere else. You don't get left in charge of the. Yeah, and I agree with you entirely. I saw that, and I thought, no.
But, in all fairness, I mean, I watched the first part of Discovery where she tried to kill her captain, and she got
Michael Burnham.
Yeah,
they should have done.
Just nuts. Oh, you want to hear something funny? It's not really related. It was just obviously I was thinking about it when I was stuffing my face. I've approached bars. Not for
Hey.
sponsorship, but if they could, I give for some free giveaways to give on the channel because I love my Brew, and I'm waiting for a return email, probably to say nah.
They
But I thought, listen, the amount of Iron Brew I drink, give it a wee go.
It's a long shot. It's a long
It's
shot.
a long shot, but
well,
I sent them an email and just in the off chance. I don't expect to hear.
they just go back and watch the number of times you flash them, you showed them one day. They probably come and say, "Yeah, fine, well, yeah,
Yeah, the amount of times I talk stuff like
yeah,
that.
exactly, yeah."
Mhm.
I mean, you're saying that when there's, I'm still watching. Slowed up slightly because it's on season 5 of Andromeda, and there's a couple of episodes in that where they do time thing very, very well.
You missed that bit. You cut out.
I thought I might have done.
There was a pause.
They do the alternate universe stroke time loop thing really well.
See, I've been listening to some audiobooks, alternate universe ones, and some of them they start off really good, and then they drag on. It's the Harry Turtledove.
Yeah.
The North and South one.
Yeah.
Which what would happen if the South had won?
Yep.
And then there was also the one about the during Second World War. Suddenly there was an alien invasion.
Those were good.
They were good, but it just seemed to drag so long that the interest just waned because it was almost a case of it was getting dragged out for the next book, dragged out for the next book, and eventually I just went, "There's just too many because they're going nowhere." I love them, but it's almost like a case of here's 3 books. This does the whole. Here's a book, and here's another book, and here's another book, and it just where's it going to end? Or is it going to end? Because it just seemed to drag and drag and drag.
Yeah,
and I love the alternate history options. I do.
Well, Man on the High Castle. I don't know if you watched the Man. I love the Man on the High Castle.
I've seen it, but because I just
season 4 though. Blech. Season 4 was so bad, or season 3, whatever their last season was. I in my brain, I get it mixed up. You'll have to forgive me. I'm very old. Whatever the last season was, they went in such a bad direction, and they had characters doing things that were not what that character would do, and they introduced a lot of woke bullshit.
That's the problem.
Bad stuff. And so it's like, what are you doing? You're taking a brilliant story, which was just foundationally built by Philip K. Dick in The Man in the High Castle, the short story. But they turned it. They actually made it. In my opinion, they made it better for seasons. I'm going to say the first 3 seasons because in my brain the first 3 seasons were good, but like I said, the last season was just so bad, and it hurt me to watch these characters, even the bad guys. You grew to like the bad guys as characters because they were interesting to watch, but then they're just like, what was that? That doesn't make any sense, and it just ruined it. So that one, talk about shows that went on too long. That went on one season.
I watched the first few, and I just could not get into it. I don't know what it was. I watched it when it first appeared on TV.
Yeah, me too.
So right at the beginning, and I was watching it, and because it was on alternate history, what if? And I was thought, and I don't know, just something about it just did not get me, and I don't know what it was. But then again, I remember when the first time I watched the Almighty Johnstons, right? I watched the first. I usually give 3 episodes. First episode's usually set up the characters. Second one is set up the situation, and the third one, or it's usually the situation, then the characters, then it sort of meshes in how the characters work within the world. So the 3 episodes is usually what you need, because sometimes if you just watch the first episode, they've just given you, this is what they do. Then the next one is, this is the ones because you've seen what they do. Now you're introducing the characters, who they are, and then it's out there and see how it goes.
Unless you're watching The Last of Us.
But the first 3 episodes of the Almighty Johnstons, I thought, I just can't get into this. And then my friend said to me, she says, watch it until Thor turns up, episode 5. So I thought, right, I'll start again. So I watched the first 3 episodes again. Then I watched the 4th episode, and I'm sitting there. Then I watched the 5th episode, and I went, And see, after that, I could watch the first 4 episodes and I could understand it a bit better because it was fun. And it was just because the first 4 episodes just did not catch me. But see, soon the third turned up, it just was fun. And it caught me. And I rewatched the whole thing multiple times. And I love it. So it might be the man in the high castle. I might need to get a bit further than the 3 episodes.
I
can't even remember about it. All I remember is I watched the 3 episodes and it just didn't grab me.
There's some. I like I said, I particularly the first 2 seasons. I really love because I like seeing what's going to happen with John Smith. He is a fascinating character. He's not a good guy, but he's a fascinating character. And like there were other characters who I cared less about, like Frank, the jeweler maker, and it's not just your side characters were kind of whatever. But the big players were always good, and you just had a lot of interesting things moving within that world. I thought it was good. But it is though when some series are hard to. But like I said, but the Next Gen, though, that whole first season was hard to get through. And we've talked about that before, where, well, you have to wait till the second season. And, well, I don't. If the first season was bad, why do I watch the second season? But
there's also the aspect of it as well. If the first 3 seasons are good, why would you watch it? Because you know the 4th season's bad.
No, exactly. No, and that's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. Game of Thrones. Why'd you watch the first 7 seasons?
The Expanse.
Oh.
I was enjoying The Expanse. Season 4 came. There were 3 episodes in, and I just went, nope, I'm out. So everybody was saying The Expanse was good, and I was watching it. I was enjoying it. And then halfway through season 4, I went, nope, I'm out. I didn't watch the rest. So, and it's this idea that, am I going to watch something that I know the final season is really bad? And that's the problem.
You can have an off season in between, I suppose, but as long as your opening and your closing are solid, and it's not too long, you're not just having so much material.
But see, the thing is, an off season's different from a bad season. I think that's where it is because I wouldn't say season 1 of Star Trek was bad per se. It was off. Because they were taking
that's a good point.
Introduce the characters. They could have sped it up a bit and it would have condensed it, and then it would have maybe been a wee bit more flowing. But they took so long, and they were trying to do the visuals. Yeah, look, all the women and men walk about with skirts, and look,
that was very annoying. I'm glad they aced that.
Everybody's equal, and this is the utopia for this. And you're sitting there thinking, get bloody on with it, it's Star Trek. We know. But it's things like that. So to me, it wasn't a bad season. It was just a off season.
Yeah,
and I don't have issues with off season.
That's better. You're right.
You could watch something in 3 or 4 episodes could be off, and you just go, "Well, I'll skip them next time." Babylon 5, love it, but there's occasional episodes I'll go, "Nah, not interested in that one," so I'll skip it. But it doesn't make Babylon 5 bad. Like season 5 of Babylon 5 is still good. However, you can stop at season 4 and just go to the last episode in season 5 and you'll miss nothing.
Wow.
Because they had filmed the finale because they were told season 4 is all you're getting.
Oh.
So they filmed the finale. And then they said, we'll give you season 5. So they had already had the finale filmed, so they basically had it. And then Claudia Christensen would be coming back because they weren't going to pay her more that she wanted, so she went fine. But she's in the final episode because they'd already filmed that. So she's not in the whole season, and then she's in the final episode. So there's bits that don't make sense. That's why I'm saying all that part, even though Tracy Scoggins is in it, you could take out. But it is still, to me, it's still a really good one because they had an idea where they were going and then they had filmed it. But as soon as somebody says, right, we'll actually give you more another season, you're sitting there thinking, where do you go from here? Because we've already got
they screwed up the continuity of the show.
Yeah, so they had to actually put in a lot of filler. And it made not a lot of sense.
And it felt like filler?
And it felt like it to me. So
We
if
won't
you,
mention Grey 17.
there's bad ones where Grey 17 is missing. Yeah, really. Or the one where but the best thing about the whole thing was the psycho. Bester, Walter Koenig.
He was good. I liked
He
him a lot.
was Bester. He was fantastic. What a performance he did. The man you love to hate. And he was great. So yes, there's always bad characters that you love to hate, and you actually, I want to be standing next to Bester going,
Cigarette smoking man. He was a great villain.
yeah.
X-Files as a whole, I think, is a train wreck. I think there are aspects of the X-Files. As soon as the Coveney left that first time, and I have to say the first time, which is weird, that's when it took a dive for me. And it never felt like it was complete. It still doesn't feel like it's complete, honestly. I mean, they did that season 10, but it never felt like it was done. You never got the good wrap it up kind of thing. And you don't have to have that with every show, but a show like the X-Files that had that big, long story arc, it would have been nice if they could have come to a conclusion of some kind, and they just never did.
That's the thing. It's one of those ones where, sorry, do you want it to be episodic or do you want it to have a story arc? You can't.
Their individual episodes were great.
Have both to an extent, but if you've got a story arc and it comes to a conclusion, you have to come to a conclusion. You can't actually say, but it continued. Really? It's what is it then? So what's the point of a conclusion if it continues? So it didn't come to a conclusion. So if they turn up again after you've destroyed them and they turn up again, you're sitting there thinking, what was the whole point of that season?
Well, I thought if I may quote or paraphrase Athrax, you are the one you're the ones of this story, of this arc, that starts the next great story. In other words, it doesn't end. You get to the end of the story, but then that just feeds into the next one. But as long as you do that properly, it works. So, as you said,
if they've gone through a whole arc to the point where they've destroyed the enemy completely,
well,
and then got the next thing where they pop back up, you're sitting there thinking, what was the point? It's like Star Wars, and then the Empire's defeated, and then 20 years later, there's an even bigger and better one.
That was so irritating. I hate the First Order. I freaking hate it. I hate everything about it.
I wouldn't have had an issue if the First Order was remnants of the Empire coming, but they're bigger, they're better, they've got more troops, they've got more weapons, they've got bigger and better. And you're sitting there thinking, they just defeated them, but they just continued going on. So it doesn't
work.
It doesn't work.
Matt the drummer and I have rewritten the sequels of Star Wars on the back porch probably a dozen times. And the way we do it is not dissimilar to what you're just talking about right now, though. You have fragments of the Empire, and and there's infighting within those fragments because someone always wants to be the bigger dog. But there's not a cohesive unit that is the Empire anymore.
Which the Emperor was the Empire with Vader.
The thing that actually the thing that did took Star Wars out for me in some ways. I've not seen any Disney Star Wars on the grounds that I don't think the first few seasons of the Clone Wars TV series were done under Disney. I've seen some of those.
That's 20th Century Fox.
If they were all done under Disney, then I've seen some Disney Clone Wars. That's it. But was when the prequels came around, and you thought, hold on a second, this great, you set up this great galaxy-spanning bad guy empire, and when we start the film, it's 16 years old. The Empire is as old as Luke Skywalker. What? That did it for me. I thought, it's like, no, I know that I had it, but it's much older. I think Babylon 5, I've seen you saying about that, about killing himself. Babylon 5 did that Stargate didn't manage to do. Stargate killed off their main. They eventually reached the end. Admittedly, it sort of died out a little bit here, but they effectively reached the end of the gold arc, and then they had to come back with a new big bad.
Yeah,
Suddenly had to get the OI.
Yeah.
But what Babylon 5 did, at least I take Gary's orthodox point, but I'm not going to knock him off. I'm not going to create myself a Christmas list just so I can knock him off it. just because he doesn't like the way the Shadow arc ended. I take his point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the Shadow arc. It's
they
a
ended
big fight, and they actually end up with a big fight with saying, "Get out of our galaxy."
I actually quite like. But what they had at least done is they planned it, and you'd still got. They'd already set up the next big. But it was very cleverly done because what they'd done is the first big bad, effectively, was Clark.
Yes,
but that's so.
The
Earth thing is still going in.
The first big bad. He was the bad. He was the front for the big bad, and they gave you Clark was the big bad, and then behind him there's a shadow, and that was a good way of doing it because you realise, oh wait a minute, there's something behind him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's story wise as we come across it and all the rest of it. It's a big bad, and then. You concentrate. They go off, and they do cleverly when you get Racing Mars, where the Doctor and Marcus are talking to the Martian Resistance guy. They've no idea that Shadow War's been going on because that's been happening at one point. So you've started off with Earth, you've moved off, you've done the whole thing with the shadows and all the rest of it. All the wars going on up there, the shadow setting off the wars, and then you finish the shadow arc, fine, but you've still got something else going on with it, so you can carry that through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I to do that.
I mean, my understanding is that as you said earlier on, I mean, I was listening and I wasn't able to be on computer. That the originally season 4 was supposed to end with. I don't suppose we need to bother with spoilers for something that's that old. Season 4 was supposed to end with Sheridan being captured. Yep. That was supposed to be the last episode of season 4. Then, as you say, they told, "Oh no!" Fortunately, they were given sufficient. They were given sufficient notice to actually. Rush or not, but to actually finish up the main story arc to get to a point where they had got everything reasonably well done, but they still had enough that they could carry on with season 5.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that considering the problems they had, that they did that very well. I'm personally still reasonably certain that the season 5 arc, that at least half of Lita's storyline would have been Ivanova.
Yeah, I think so, because
I think
they basically had to fill it in. But
I mean, I think all that stuff. You could
get rid of all that, and it wouldn't make that much difference to the end story, the final episode. And that's the
Miranda. Thing. That Miranda was what Crusade was going to be about.
Oh.
Yeah, the shadows, the shadows in particular.
Yeah, that's the Crusade was started off as that because they actually destroyed, bombarded Earth and left a virus. Crusade cure the virus.
Yeah, they were originally going to cure the virus by the end of season 1, if not early into season 2, and the rest of the story was going to be about Earth Force using shadow tech. It was basically going to be dealing with the fallout of all that advanced tech that was left behind, basically.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, it got messed up. Crusade got messed up by the networks and didn't even make one series.
Yeah, I know. Right, what we're going to do is have a quick
Pick of the week.
because we know Roman has to be leaving soon.
Mhm.
And anything anybody got?
I've got two, like a Blu-ray and a DVD, but I'll let Roman go first if he's got anything.
I got nothing. Actually, see, my statement is a lie when I say it. I actually have all kinds of junk that I've procured over the last couple of weeks that I've been absent from the show.
You should get your pointer and say, "Yeah, what's at the back?"
What's that?
Here's a new music system. Here's a new piece of software.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not visually exciting for the chat. They're gonna go, yeah. Roman's an idiot. I got some new microphones over there. Woo! So anyway, all the stuff I've bought is like tech stuff. So I got nothing cool and geeky.
Okay.
I got a couple of nice things, and that's not from charity shops. I used my bonus to buy one or two wee bits and pieces, and it wasn't figures because these are one or two things I've been looking for a wee while, and I decided to go and bite the bullet. They weren't expensive, so I didn't actually go overboard. So Alec, do you want to go first, or do you want me?
I'll go first. It's only two items anyway.
All right, okay, let's bounce it up on the screen, and there you go.
So I went into my local recording DVD store the other day. I decided to treat myself, and these were going cheap actually. Really, probably about under a tenner, so that's the main thing. And the first one I got is Dragon Ball Super, probably the movie, which was going cheap. So that's the Dragon Ball.
I've still not seen any Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah, not missing nothing anyway. And this is my final DVD of Doctor Who I'll be buying because I'm going over to the Blu-rays in the future.
Yeah.
So to go out, I had to buy this because I saw it for a decent price. So I bought the Daemons.
Oh, cool.
Demons.
Demons.
Right. Well, seen as that's what you bought.
Chap with Wings, 5 rounds rapid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems
Well,
that's what you bought. I will show you what I got because I got DVDs. The first one I bought was because it was fairly inexpensive on eBay. And it was.
Aha! Got that one up there and all.
Battlefield. I'm sticking with my DVDs because my collection is all DVDs. I've not got any Blu-rays. Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to get a new monitor, which is going to sit up there. 43-inch monitor, which would make the Blu-rays look woohoo. But I'll stick to my DVDs of these because I've got the collection there. And down there, I've still got the videos, as you can see. That's all videos. But Farscape you can see there. But the Doctor Who ones are behind it and at the side. So that's all video still. I've still got videos. Yeah, I'm that old and I'm okay with it. But I picked that one up. I was under a £5. I picked that up.
I've still got audio cassettes somewhere.
I've got some in. I picked up this and I was really happy with this.
Oh, cool.
Classic sci-fi TV. It has Flash Gordon starring Steve Holland, not Buster Crabbe. It's got Captain Zero. It's got Clutch Cargo. It's basically got Destination Space. It's got Johnny Jupiter. It's got Superman. So it has Stamp Day for Superman, 1 episode with Reeves in it. And you've got things like Tales of Frankenstein, Underworld Kingdom. You've also got Space Angel, which is animated. So I had just a load of this, 150 episodes of different things. So, and the good thing is, a lot of them are out of copyright.
Oh, nice. Ah! Take that, YouTube.
Yes. So that was that. But the next one was one I've been trying to get for a while, and I decided to bite the bullet. 2 box sets of 8 discs each.
Ooh.
All right.
Ah,
UFO. Yes, I've been wanting to get them for a while, and I decided I am getting
Cool.
them.
All collector's
Oh.
edition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the full 2 box sets.
Is that in the transmission order, or is that in proper order? Or does it
It's
not?
in. I don't know because I've not watched them yet.
Oh,
I'm
right.
literally going through this at the moment. I've
Ah.
already watched all the Flash Gordons, so I'm looking forward to all the stuff. But I'm looking forward to that. It's 8 volumes, so it is, with 4 episodes per disc.
Right on.
So I am so looking forward to that. It's next on my watch list. So it is. And I've been looking for this for such a long time. And I decided I'm not going to get it in a charity shop. Bite the bullet. I got
Yeah.
a bonus, so I might as well spend.
Wow.
It was not too expensive. I can't complain. The guy, it was well packaged. It turned up 2 days after purchasing it. He sent it
Wow.
out that quickly.
Nice.
And the boxes are great. The DVDs are in still really good condition. And I love the idea that each of the DVDs has got a superb.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, even with Sam. But
Hey, do you have the episode with the Chinese spy balloon? I'm sorry.
anyway, we
Oh.
already found out who it was. It was X-Ray Girl. Did you see it? She's actually sitting with behind her. Hold on. There's my tea.
hello,
Oh,
Mrs. PJ.
hello, Mrs. PJ.
What the hell?
Someone made a cameo.
There's a girl in there. There's never been a girl in there before.
That's normally because I turned off the camera. Listen, I'm saying nothing. I've got my tea.
I told PJ, if you can find it somewhere, I can actually recommend the Big Finish UFO box set Identified. It's
It's
a
not-
re.
Uh-huh.
It's a
Just
re.
actually highlighting to retro. It is.
Yeah.
It's 10 discs.
Yeah.
And
It's
the good thing is,
it's.
it comes with a wee booklet.
Oh wow!
Description for every episode and tells you how many discs. Actually, 10 discs, 12 discs. So
Wow.
literally it gives you the description, every disc, what's on every one.
Oh, cool.
And even the good thing is, it not only tells you about them, it actually gives you a breakdown of the story.
That's nice.
Like, for instance, The Phantom Empire, starring Gene Autry, Frankie Darren, and Dorothy Christie, 1935, black and white, unrated. Cowboy star Gene Autry is the lead in this Western meets science fiction movie serial from Republic Pictures. The underground lost kingdom of... I need to wear glasses now.
We don't even know if what he's saying is true. He could be making all of this up.
Aye. Mariah lies directly below the ranch owned by Gene Autry, and the radiation from the mysterious land brings trouble to both Audrey and the people of Mariah. So it's literally 12 episodes. So it's Gene Autry and stuff like that. So I am so looking forward to this stuff. 1935 to 1954, I think.
Wow.
So should be fun stuff. So
That's cool. Dude. Some good. Yeah.
So
Colin, did you bring anything forward from 1356 for us?
say again?
Did Colin bring anything forward from 1356 for us to look at?
Unfortunately, YouTube tends to frown on me showing dead French bodies.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What he did was he actually brought a pie but it aged badly.
No, honestly, though, I mean, if anybody, having listened to the set, I can honestly say, the unlike some of the Space 1999 ones, the UFO box set, Big Finish UFO box set, I personally thought was it's a slight rewriting of mainly the first box set. At least is a prequel, although because of the way they did the first episode, there's some bits feed into it. There's a few little bits that are rewritten, but if you say, okay, it's another version of UFO, but it's I quite liked it. I don't think there's any original cast in it, which is unusual for Big Finish. But I actually found it quite good and quite worth a listen to.
Yeah.
Even though they've done a few bits of swapping here and there, but it's not obnoxious and it's done in a way that explains things as well.
Yeah.
And Big Finish are not
I will give it a go once I finish, but
yeah.
I mean, every one of the discs, there's no repetition of the artwork, which even each of them have got a face on them, so every one of them is different, which I love, and the front cover of everyone is different scenes from it. It's just to me, if I was getting a set and you open the box and you start getting repetition, it's a case of really. But no, that's quite well done. Because you look at the X-Files, right? In effect, it's a box and there's no sleeves, but I've got ones that have got each individual box, and it's just the same image with just a different a wee picture at the top and a number. But unless you're actually looking at the number, you can't tell what one's what. That one, everyone is individual, and you can spot the difference each time. So
that's like the Star Trek, with the repackaging on the DVDs for the complete series. They come in nice. The exterior box is really cool looking. It looks like a uniform shirt, but when you open it up, the discs don't even have labels on them. It's just a disc. It's like I don't even know which side I'm putting in because
the double-sided
disc. God.
Because
now, I love the series and I love the way it looks because it's updated. The effects are just cleaned and really looks nice. Yeah, but the discs are just it's just plain. It's horrible.
Yep, and it's just basically in that, and then when you're opening that,
yes,
you're getting.
Oh, those are good. Oh no, you've got a better. Mine sucks. I was going to say a body part, but I won't. Yeah, that's better. Mine does not look like that. Mine is just a blank disc. If I ever got it mixed up, I would be out of my mind.
See, that's the thing. You've got the one with the shirts. I saw them. I've got the one.
Yeah, that's much better. I'm jealous.
Three different colors. Season 1 is yellow. Season 2 is blue, and season 3 red. Or it's the other way around. I just kind of need the numbers.
The concept is the same with mine, but the discs are not.
Yeah, but to me, that's when somebody's actually doing it. As you said, it's almost a case of just throw them out, put them in a nice cover. The cover's all that's important. It's not. No, the cover, yes, is nice on your shelf, but it's not the be all and end all. Because I did have a load of TNG, and it was in the boxes, the grey boxes, and each of them had the number at the side, but it looked almost, it wasn't like a tricorder. I suppose it was like, the box was like that tricorder. So the box looked almost like that. So it was the outside of the tricorder rather than the inside. However, one of the people who my wife did a service for, she was talking and she's a big sci-fi fan and Next Generation was a thing. And she says, "Oh, well, my husband likes it." And she says, "I just wish it was on the TV more." I said to her, "There's a load of discs here. it's not my favourite show, so there you go. And we gave it down to the lady, and so she had something she could sit and watch and that she enjoyed. And to me, I still enjoyed it, but the cases, because they were the grey and they try to look like the tricorder.
Yeah.
That one, the colour, the red, the yellow, and the blue, just looked great, and it just
No, and like I said, mine look nice on the outside, but you open them up and they look like something I would stick in my computer to burn music to. Back in the mid '90s, folks, when we did that kind of stuff.
That's a nice box, right? So you open it, and each of the discs come in just a black sleeve, and each of the sleeves is just basically got sci-fi.
At least there's a picture on the.
There's a
disc
picture
itself,
on it.
though.
It says disc 2 classic sci-fi TV, and it gives a brief description.
Okay.
But in effect, you have to actually take it out and read it, so they don't stand out. That's the thing. They don't stand out. It's not like the Star Trek ones. I can see each of them are individual, so you can actually see.
Normies probably don't get freaked out about this kind of stuff, but as collectors, that kind of stuff matters. And we look around the rooms. You know that it's the little things that matter a great deal to people like us. It's the things that make something stand out from the others. So hey, I'm gonna roll out on that note, PJ and friends.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Roman, for joining us.
No, thank you again for having me. I've missed you guys. I'm sorry I haven't been here. As I've said, it's been
enjoy your dinner.
Hectic around the studio of the Empire. This Thursday, Monday morning, I'll be doing the Last of Us review from the Sunday night show. We'll see how it goes this week. I'm going to be on Flaccid Phoenix Monday night as well, talking about the show live. And then Thursday, we're having another big show. We're going to be covering, as briefly as I can, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, because I don't like that movie. And then Fury Road, because we wanted to close out our Mad Max Road Warrior continuum. So it should be a fun show. Warrior's
the best one. The first one's the best one.
Mad Max or the Road Warrior? I don't like Mad Max. Personally, I don't like the very first film. It could go away and it doesn't change anything. The Road Warrior for me... I do agree, but I like it because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have had them. Then you wouldn't have the Road Warrior. You're right. You're right. But the second film was better than the first film by a long shot. And the third film is
but
crap and it's unnecessary. And the fourth film, I really enjoyed again. So,
see, I think the first film set up the world a bit better because it
did.
Time. It was at the end of the world falling apart. Yeah. Because the two of them were still cops.
But the Road Warrior covers all of that in like the first 30 seconds. Through the flashbacks. Anyway. All right, guys.
Thank you. And then remember, Wednesday we are doing Captain Scarlet.
Yeah. I don't know what Captain Scarlet is, guys.
Then watch the video and find out.
Puppet. It's a puppet.
Not a mannequin. Mannequins don't move. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic
Take care, Roman.
Around the interwebs.
Thank you. Bye. Right, and then there was 3.
Right. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.
Yes, the important person's gone. So all the people who can't even understand us and actually just speak have here. Anywho, anything you're planning for watching over the next week, except Captain Scarlet, because that is Wednesdays, which we are doing a joint stream. So FFSI and me will be broadcasting at the exact same time, same channel. We're trying it. We did a test and it seemed to work, but looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. And the good thing is, to make sure none of the two of us get credit, we've got somebody else running it.
Yeah, if he remembers.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. So anything you are watching, anything in the chat, any you are looking at, anything you think we should be looking at, remember, classic the better. Not that I'm actually saying the new stuff's all rubbish, but the new stuff's all rubbish. What can I say? So,
No, Peter, no.
oh, come on, Peter, that even I'm laughing at that one.
No. That's
I'll
later.
be there, or FAB, I'll be there. Sorry,
SIG.
FAB.
Sixer.
Yeah. I basically, a nice plain words. I like a nice plain words, and it's. But anybody's been watching or planning to watch over the next wee while? Obviously, my plans have been stated, and I will be uploading Flash Gordon 14 episodes, and it is starring Steve Holland as Flash. So it's definitely not Buster Crabbe, but it's 1953, 1954. So
Yeah, well,
that'll be running.
FFS got an announcement to make at the end of the show. So
Ghost Stories from the 1970s.
Interesting.
Sounds good. I like a good ghost story. A wee something like, remember Tales of the Unexpected? I love that.
Great thing.
There's that nice wee twist to it. I just like that type of thing. So I've got a Tales of the Unexpected DVD in my collection. It's just trying to find good stuff like that. So that's what I'll be watching over the next week, because they'll be getting ripped and uploaded as well, because a lot of them are out of copyright. But I still prefer physical media. I would recommend anybody who likes all the stuff. It wasn't that expensive. I think 20 quid, and that was including postage. So £20, probably about $20 the way the conversion rate is. That one there. Classic sci-fi TV, 150 episodes. Blast off with the over 60 hours of sci-fi TV classics. Embark on an out-of-this-world adventure with 150 television episodes spanning the galaxy of classic sci-fi shows and serials. Featuring an astronomical amount of popular and hard-to-find programs. This stellar compilation includes Flash Gordon, Rocky Jones, Space Ranger, Captain Zero, Radar Men from the Moon, and much more to please sci-fi fans of all ages. I would definitely recommend that. I've watched the Flash Gordon stuff. So you could tell that it's almost square. The ratio, it's not and the cut off bits.
4:3.
Some of there's one or two, it's grainy. So they literally got it just in time before it disappeared. So there is a lot of stuff there. Like the Flash Gordon, there is 36 episodes, but there's only 14 surviving by the sound of it. And I've got them, and that's what I like. Some of them are the quality's poor because they were degrading. That is the one. So I'll be uploading bits and pieces from this onto my channel. However, still recommend getting the physical stuff because you never know what's going to happen to it.
Yeah,
what's that one? Herman Brick's Bruce Bennett's Tarzan films. Well, I've got all the a load of Tarzan films, mainly Johnny Weissmuller, but I'll check to see who else is in it because I think there's about 15 Tarzan movies in my collection, and they can't all be Johnny Weissmuller. And it's not just TV show. It's not Doc Savage himself. Oh, God, what's his name? His name disappeared just as I said Doc Savage.
Ronnie Eli.
Aye. Just beat me to it. But Ronnie Eli, basically, so there is I've got a TV show with Ronnie Eli, but it has to be some Bruce Bennett Tarzan films. Has to be because there's some right old ones. I love Johnny Weissmuller's Tarzan movies. Absolutely amazing. I remember trying to practice that and try to do a Johnny Weissmuller call, but The funny thing is, I saw Buster Crab's Tarzan, and it's hilariously funny if you grew up watching the Ron Eli one, which is actually using Johnny Weissmuller's call, because Ron Eli, Buster Crab came out and he went, "Ah!" it was because you go, that's no Tarzan's call, but it was before Johnny Weissmuller did.
Yeah, but let's be fair. The best Tarzan was Terry Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carry on.
Carry on up the jungle, yes.
The amount of innuendos that were coming out of that film.
Mm.
And I think Frankie Harris stole the film.
Carry on. film.
Robin of Sherwood, who it's been mentioned before multiple times. I still need to get a hold of that.
That was one.
Daniel, come on. I've got right up until, I think I've got them all. I think Galaxy 4 is the only one I've not got. It's the most recent out. I've got them all up to Tom Baker's is completed now, and Peter Davidson's half completed. I'm still working my way up. Sylvester McCoy is getting there because, as I said, Battlefield. That is the reason I decided not to take the chance and actually wait until see if I saw it in a charity shop. Is Battlefield is one of my favourites. I love Battlefield, so it is. So that's why I picked that one up. But I'm getting there. I could actually go out and buy the lot because I know places that I could see. Sometimes I check them on eBay. The reason I check them on eBay is sometimes somebody sells a collection, so you can get them for £2-3. That one I got for £5. The last time I bought 10, I got the lot of them for under £25 because it was a couple of quid here, £3 there, £4, and that's why I bought them. So I still look on eBay for them, but I've decided I'm not going over the top with them because I prefer charity shops. But with Doctor Who, it's hard. Even though I saw the Twitter post that somebody had taken in a charity shop, and every episode of Doctor Who from the collection it was the one, they were all numbered, and it was somebody had sold them all. And somebody says, obviously somebody's passed. And I'm sitting there thinking, I would buy half of them. The rest of them, they're on new stuff, not interested. It goes right up to Matt Smith, I think.
Wow.
So it was every one. So anything, it was all the numbers. So it must have been a collection. You bought one a month and somebody had gone through them all.
Well, PJ, I'm not getting rid of my Doctor Who DVDs. They're going into storage.
Well, mine's, I've got my videos, as I said.
Yeah.
Down here. But you can see one at the front. You've got that one.
Yeah.
There. That is Trial of a Time Lord. And this one here is my first one I ever got.
Seeds of Death.
Seeds of Death. Still one of my favourites because it was the first one I could watch multiple times.
No, the reason why I'm just they're going into storage is because with these Blu-rays and that, they're fitting it all into one like case and that. So, and I've got no room up there anymore.
I know, you know me, I've got no room for anything.
Yeah, but I just thought instead of expanding the shelf, get the Blu-rays and
Do you know how many? Right, this is only titles I've got. Do you know how many titles I've got? Remember, some of these titles maybe have 10 or 15 DVDs in each. Like I've got the full Stargate, that's one title, but the collections that I've got. So do you know how many titles I've got? It's getting really bad. I'm actually thinking of actually changing my database so I can upload it to the cloud so people can do reviews, so I can go through them and say, oh, a new review came in for that one. Oh, I definitely need to watch that again.
Well,
PJ,
PJ, can I just bring myself up on big screen?
No. Give me 2 seconds. Go.
Okay. Yeah, it's not to say, it's just where they're slimming, like what they got with UFO here. It's like, how many can you actually fit in? It's like an internal TARDIS.
How many is that? All 20?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discs. The whole collection plus special features and everything. It's just
That's it.
yes, yeah. That's 8 discs, but this is 6 discs. It's the whole entire collection. But you got special features and everything. It's like the slim trimming it down into one case.
And truthfully, I know what you're saying because that's 8 discs. That's the entire collection. And I've not added these one. Right, that's one. Obviously, Battlefield's going on. I've actually, and I've not catalogued all my Doctor Who DVDs because I've only done up to John Pertwee. And I got titles. I've got 1,596 titles. Well,
wrong button.
We could do that as well. But I've got 1,596 titles, and I've got to add all those titles in. I've got to add all my Doctor Who DVDs from John Pertwee. Actually, from John Pertwee up. I've only got up to Patrick Troughton. I've added to, and that's how many titles I've got. So you can imagine my room full of discs.
Yeah, it's just weird that you can cram a lot of stuff in there these days.
And I could go to Blu-ray and actually get season at a time. But truthfully, what do you do after that?
I don't know. It's just the thing is, I am getting Red Dwarf on Blu-ray, but I don't want to get rid of the DVDs, so they're just going to storage. You know, until I find for better use for them in the future. At the moment.
What's that one? Hold on.
Just looking at Peter Harrington's.
Right. Where is it? There, it's there. Down here. Oh, there's a thing. I only class it in my collection for one reason. It's because it's Sylvester McCoy's in it at the beginning. If Sylvester McCoy was in it, I wouldn't even have it in my collection. So if Sylvester McCoy, if they'd actually just did the movie like they did 2005, they just started it with Christopher Eccleston. If the movie just had Paul McGann and no Sylvester McCoy, I found the movie quite dull. And I think I find it hilarious as well because of the master. The Henry Roberts, what's his name?
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts. He overplayed it to the extreme. So it's humorous in parts, and there's wee bits of Doctor Who in there, but the things like half human on my mother's side annoys me. The only reason it's in my collection, and I count it, is because Sylvester McCoy was in the beginning of the movie and get killed off. I wish they'd actually just did what they did with Christopher Eccleston. That way I could have just cut it before the movie. I found it dull. But I think Paul McGann was wasted in it. Because I've seen him in other stuff. The Monaco Mutineer, he's superb in. He's with Neil and I. He's been in a load of good stuff. And I've seen the things that they did when they were trying to actually do the episodes to bring it all together and stuff like that. And I think he would have made a really good Doctor. But the movie just made him too much of a dandy.
The good thing, I think, the best result of the movie wasn't necessarily the movie itself. It's what it allowed to happen and what it led to happening. It led to the BBC taking back for the new adventures. Not necessarily a good thing. I'm not a great fan of the Eighth Doctor adventures, but most importantly, it then led on to Big Finish.
See,
it led on to, if we hadn't had the movie, I don't think you would have had. If you had had the movie and then the books and then because of that, the expansion went to Big Finish man to get a hand on, I don't think we'd have got the remake.
See, the thing is, I like my audiobooks, but I gave up with Big Finish years ago. I've got a load of Big Finish stuff, but I felt as if they were just churning it out for the sake of churning it out.
Yes, I mean, I
And
most of
that's
what
when I just went, yeah.
most of what I listen to on Big Finish these days is not Doctor Who, or
No.
if it is, it's certainly I listen to more non-Doctor stuff than Doctor stuff.
Yeah.
Either
If I'm listening to the Doctor stuff, I still
spin-offs
listen to the
or
classics.
stuff that's
So
completely
the old
unconnected. Yeah.
Target books, I want somebody to read. I want to hear the audio of
I've
the Big Finish. I want to hear the audio of the classic stuff,
I've
which
got
I read in the books,
most
because I used to
of
collect the Target books.
I've
So I
got
want those.
I've got most of those as audio books. I think I've got all of them as ebooks, the Target ones.
See what you guys are talking about in the chat, right? ITVX. That's why we bought the new TV today, because we're old TV, even though it's only about 4 years old. It can't take ITVX, so we bought a new TV because my wife there's a few things in ITVX that she wants to see. So iPlayer could work on it, but ITVX didn't. So
Yeah,
good
the thing is about ITVX, you don't need to pay. You can pay a premium, but you just have to put up with the adverts on like it, and that's nothing really.
exactly. Well, I actually fixed my YouTube stuff. I actually took Colin's advice and actually finally downloaded an ad blocker. It just means anytime I'm listening to audio on my iPad, or sorry, YouTube on my iPad, I need to put up with it. But I only do that in a once in a blue moon. It means I get rid of all the adverts and I don't need to refresh to go iPad. So, yeah, I did actually finally listen to Colin.
I'm just looking forward to the day when you have to pay a subscription fee for the BBC when they finally scrap the TV license.
The
Oh,
thing
you
is,
mean when they go bust?
my wife watches the BBC, so she likes her EastEnders and stuff like that. So
Well, the way some things seem to have been going recently, I mean, I saw that apparently a lot of the or some of the BBC News presenters have got shifted and sacked apparently.
Yeah,
There's
they see
possibly
that,
hope on the horizon, but I don't know.
Well, can I just mention something? You know, Radio 2?
Yeah.
Daniel, that is a deal. That's a deal. But obviously, you know, I'm going to be right anyway.
Well, I was going to mention about Radio 2. Apparently, since they've sacked a lot of the old DJs and that, half of the listeners have gone.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, you bunch of idiots. They're too much pandering to the young, but
who don't have any money, don't pay, and aren't bothered.
Yeah, but the young don't listen to radio
Exactly.
these days.
Yeah.
Right, I'm actually firing.
They're too busy giving money to China on TikTok.
Good point.
I'm actually just firing up something. I want to check something.
Oops.
Do you remember the TV show Harry Enfield and Chums?
Yes.
They did a great sketch with two DJs, Smashing and Nicely.
Yes,
Yes, apparently, and Smashing and Nicely got relegated to the Quiet Hour because they lost their radio show, and they replaced them with younger radio DJs. And I'm thinking, when I look back at a sketch now, and I'm thinking, yeah, I wonder where they got the idea from that and take it from.
Yeah, that was how long was Smashing Nicely supposed to be?
Tony Blackburn.
And
I can't even remember either.
I have to look it up.
Alan something.
Freeman.
Alan Freeman, yeah.
Yeah.
Alan, not Alec Freeman, Alan Freeman. We're back to UFO again. Yeah.
Not off.
It looks like the Tarzan stuff I've got is all Johnny Weissmuller. There's only 10. I thought there was more. But I have got, I suppose when I was looking at them, it's the newer Tarzans that I don't like, but they're still in my collection.
Can I
It's
just click
only
on?
10 Johnny Weissmuller, so I don't have. I need to take a snapshot of that just so I've got the name so I get them properly.
Can I just
Where is
bring
it?
it? Yeah.
Peter,
Yeah,
neither does Velma.
Yeah. Talking Pictures is a good TV channel because my mother watches it all the time.
Never heard of it. It's a TV. It's a TV channel.
It's a TV channel. She watches it on Sky, but the thing is that you find it on Freeview, but it does show old classic films.
Because I'm not sure the last time I actually turned my TV on.
Well, the thing is, my mum's been watching more reruns of Tenko on than anything else.
It's a good series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait a minute,
well,
hold on a sec. But just a second. No, I must be misimagining that because Tenko was all women. That can't be a real memory. There weren't any women on TV before 2016. Certainly not strong characters.
Yeah, don't forget Jennifer Lawrence was in Tenko because she was.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot Jennifer Lawrence was in Tenko.
now
They killed her off after the first episode.
I have the Bo Derek one. I do have the Bo Derek one. We called that 10 for a reason.
Well, it's interesting because I think
Right, I'm actually looking for the.
I think Louise Jameson went to Tenko after she came out of Doctor Who. I think.
Yeah, she did, and then she went. I think they killed her off.
Yeah, she got killed off between seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I need to take a screenshot of that. Hold on a second.
And then she joined EastEnders later on.
Did she? I never watched EastEnders.
Yeah, she did back in the 90s.
Who are we talking about?
Louise Jameson.
Yes,
Well, I mean,
she did. She played the gypsy woman.
Gypsy woman. I thought she was the head of her family.
Was she not a gypsy family?
No. Well, no. I think they were more Greek.
I thought they were a Roma.
I wouldn't know. I never
I
watched
thought they were a Roma family.
I think so, but they were more Greek, really.
Yeah, I used to watch. I used to watch 40s TV. They did have a lot of good stuff on it.
Oh
They
yeah.
had UFO at one point.
Yeah, they did. They had UFOs.
they had
Space
Special
1999. Yep. But I think Fox's TV shut down now.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
But you know, in a good place to find some of the old classics is that archive.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that had the whole of Briscoe County Junior on it, and you cannot upload. I tried to upload one from Briscoe. It was the episode where Ron Eli comes back. Right, basically Briscoe County Senior come back. So I snipped bits out.
You mean Arlie Ermy?
Aye, sorry, I said Ron Eli, didn't I?
Arlie Ermy's Tarzan. Oh,
I know. But
oh yes, Gunny Sergeant Tarzan.
yeah, that would be fun. But sorry, it's just the name. So Briscoe County Senior comes back in. So I clipped the bits where he was giving Briscoe advice, and he was coming in and out as a ghost, right? So I just clipped it out. And it was about 4 minutes, 5 minutes long with all the clip bits, some bits like me, and then I uploaded it, and it says nobody can see this because you've got a minute and a half in there, and it was only one segment. So I downloaded it and clipped that out and I uploaded it. It says, oh, nobody can see this because a different section is bad. I'm sitting there thinking, I just delete. So Briscoe, the fact that you can't actually upload certain parts of Briscoe, yet it's on archive.org, the full thing that you can watch. It just goes to show that, where do they go with that? Because they're allowing it to be broadcast on archive.org. So why can they not allow clips of it to be shown on YouTube?
Yeah, then again, Force TV shut down probably because they're too busy putting their money into advertising for woke soldiers.
Oh, don't start on that.
Seen that? See, I wasn't even a weekend soldier. I'm a coward, so I'm okay.
I was. I resemble that remark.
I'm a born coward, so
I was a weekend soldier. And the
So was
world was
Billy
scared of
Connolly.
me.
because he made a song
Exactly,
about
he
it.
was. So exactly. So was Lewis Collins.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I think Lewis Collins and Billy Connolly were both powers.
Yes,
Hey.
the mayor.
Because
Because
I know Lewis.
he joined the Paras TA after he did Who Dares, did he not?
He was Lewis
Yeah.
Collins was, I think, was 10 power. He wanted to join 20, 21 or 23. I can't remember which. But he was apparently turned down because he was too well known.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that 21 and 23's roles at the time was mainly stay behind forces in Germany, rather than the fun stuff. But yeah, he did apply to join 21 or 22. 21's London. Sorry, 21 or 23. 21 is London. 23 is or was up north somewhere. I think I've got a feeling possibly Manchester based, and of course 22 is the regulars.
See, I thought the Who Dares Wins film was okay. It was just fun entertainment. It was done entertainment for entertainment's sake.
It's
It was based on the embassy thing, yes.
it's
But they
it
didn't
was
actually. They basically just based it on that. They didn't
it's
say
it's
this is based on
no,
a true
it's based on a book called The Tiptoe Boys,
Mhm.
Which I've read. But yes, it was rushed out because of the embassy. But yes,
Yes, but it
Pretty
was
much.
basically they just says it's based on, and they were just basically
Yeah.
saying if it happened, this group would be sent, and this is how they would do it. It didn't, and it had nothing to do with that, and they
Yeah.
only used that as a backdrop, and I don't have an issue with that.
No.
It's when they turn around and saying based on a true story. No, it's not. It's basically you've taken the concept of it and then you've twisted everything. That doesn't make it based on a true
the
story.
Woman King.
Yeah, anything. You name anything, because I say that quite a lot. Is see when they say based on, all they're saying is we've taken the idea so we can actually say based on. What they mean is we've changed everything so it's not the same story. So don't assume based on is
Oh
the
yeah,
same
based
as
on,
the actual how it was actually happened.
based on is the same. Is exactly semantically the same as inspired by.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, as I said, I mean, it was quite a good film.
It was a fun film, and that's the thing. It was entertaining for the sake of entertaining.
I tell you what though,
Great theme to it. I tell you, there's song.
yeah. Well, the other thing is not that, but I mean, I remember the real thing actually happened on my sister's birthday, and I remember we were watching it, but it led to a number of things, not least of which is it was probably the worst thing ever to happen to the SAS.
Yeah.
Because they've been going for 20 years and no one knew they existed, and then all of a sudden everybody did. But they apparently at Hereford afterwards, they had a party at Hereford afterwards.
Very true, Miranda.
And they started with two guys in black kit coming down, abseiling down from the ceiling into the mess hall. One of them rips off his face, and it's Jim Davidson. Yeah, Jim. Literally, as he said himself, and it's you see if you read Soldier ISAS by Pete Winner, although his name didn't come out for quite a long time. He tells that story. Because he was also at the Battle of Murbat. That is one hell of a book to read because he's on Operation Jaguar, walking up the Jebel Akhtar. He's at the Battle of Murbat, where 9 of them took out 600, or took on 600 guys. And there should have been at least one, if not 2 VCs won, but they weren't awarded because it was a secret war. And he then went out and he comes back, and he's actually the guy that you see, the first guy you see going in through the windows. But it's a really good, it's called Soldier ISAS because that's what he was called at the inquest. But it's really, I mean, one of the first books that came out by someone other than a senior officer, actually in a sort of a general plus, who's brought out sort of semi-generic autobiographies. But this is one of the first ones that suddenly started this rush for the likes of Andy McNabb and Chris Ryan bringing out their stories. I won't say autobiographies because some of them have been seriously challenged in some things, but a lot of that was spun off from the embassy because it just suddenly came out and it was suddenly known.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who was in that. Who does ones? I remember it as a sketch show.
What, who does
Rory McGrath was in it, wasn't he?
Rory McGrath, Jimmy Mungill.
A lot of Chelsea
Jimmy Mulville,
guys.
because the two of them basically did Chelmsford 1, 2, 3.
Cheers, Miranda.
Right. Who's it?
Well, there's I wish I could find it, but in my opinion,
Tony Robinson was in it, and all.
Yeah, the best caption competition winner ever was in. Do you remember Not the 9 O'Clock News?
Yeah.
They did. I used to have it. They did an annual one year, and one of the things there was the photo of the year of the one of the SAS going in over the balcony, and the caption was all because the hostages love milk tray.
Yeah.
I remember that joke. I remember that joke. That was thingy. But yeah, I loved the thing. That's why when Chelmsford 1, 2, 3 came in, that's it. I just couldn't remember who was in it initially, but you mentioning it, yeah, and that's why I enjoyed Chelmsford 1, 2, 3 because the two of them were writing it and
Well, the
standing.
thing is, it was Jimmy Mungill and Rory McGrath who gave birth to the company Hat-Trick Productions.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Some company, it was the same with was it Griffith Jones and Mel Smith? They created their own. Yeah. They created their own.
Yeah, I like Elias Smith and Jones. They did. It wasn't it Apple. It was something like that. It was. They called it something like that.
Well, the
wasn't it Raspberry? It wasn't Raspberry. It was something like that. You just called it. It was.
But
I'm sure it was something.
Well, the guys and gal that did the original, the actors that did and the original Horrible Histories, they formed their own company. I can't remember what they're called, but they got because they wanted to do Ghosts in the Night. Talkback. Yes, thank you. Yeah, they formed their own company. Yeah.
No, Smith and Jones created Talkback.
Oh, Smith and Jones was Talkback. Was
Was it Talkback?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one way of doing it. You create your own, then you've actually got, then you've got the control over what you do. And
yeah,
I think it might be.
See, the thing is as well nowadays.
Peter, sorry.
It doesn't matter if they actually make their own production company. All they're doing is they make the production company just to sell stuff on, and it's crap. You look at their talk about remaking most recently. The most recent remakes they're talking about was it wasn't the Robin Hood. What was the one they were talking about? It's the most up to date one, 2023. It's not even in post production. They're just talking about starting at this, and it was it's one of my favourites. I can't even remember the bloody name. It's going out of my head. I hate that when I think about something and as I go to speak about it, it goes woohoo.
Babylon 5.
No, well, I know they were doing Babylon 5. They might have been redoing that. No interest in watching it. So
no idea
enough. Yeah, they might actually have better sci-fi, but I doubt it because the CGI nowadays is they're just pushing it all out, and it's the stuff that's already there is perfectly fine for me. What was it? Oh God, I need to actually find it. Was he trying to remember it? Something for 2023.
You're kidding.
Well,
Actually, yes, they probably would make it. Probably would be the Princess Bride, not the Princess Bride these days.
Oh, they're talking about that. Yes, the Princess Bride, a remake of that. It's just trying to actually find.
Yeah, except
The release calendar.
except these days she wouldn't be the bride because she wouldn't need no man to go and save her.
So there's up to March, but that's John Wick's out there. I'm looking for upcoming, but I can't find anything that's upcoming. Yeah, I can. Where is it upcoming? I'm in there actually.
Oh, tell me they're remaking. Go and tell me they're remaking Star Maidens.
But I just can't actually see where it was about the stuff, the upcoming stuff. But I can't find it. It's just upcoming releases for movies. Just tell you the stuff that's coming out this year.
Well, I did apparently they already want to remake the remake of Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, I heard that.
What is going on about that?
Oh, do you know what one I've got? Where is it now? I've got. Where did I put the bloody thing? I need to actually find it by name so I can actually find it. I know it begins with a B.
Barbarella?
No, Barbarella. I've got.
No, you can't remake that.
Yeah, they can't remake anything these days.
No.
I can't find the bloody thing. It's one of those ones. It's typical. I used to know exactly where it was. I just can't remember what it's called. It's just that reminded me of it when.
Is it a film that's coming out in 2023?
There is a film coming out in 2023. No, it's not coming out in 2023. It's going into production in 2023. So I saw the ones that are all coming out, and it's not there. They're talking about they're just starting to make it. So it's upcoming ones they're talking about. Right, Melvin, thanks for joining us. See
Melvin.
you later.
Take care, Melvin.
Right, I'm going to actually find this one that's just going to annoy me now. So it is. But I need to go through. The good thing is all my thingies have got images on them, so
that helps.
It's not the Fall Guy, is it?
No. It's God, it's one of these things. It's going to really annoy me. And as soon as it pops up, I'll go, that was it.
Blades?
No.
Yeah, I was supposed to be making that.
Well, I knew they were talking about remaking the Fall Guy, but I heard that a couple of months ago. It's just something somebody says recently. I can't remember.
Oh, come on, Daniel. You know, if you do that, there'll be female robots.
Mm.
Well, now that's an idea.
What's that?
Fembot Wars.
That
Fembot Mud Wrestling.
That is really going to annoy me now. I'll not be able to find it.
That wasn't that bad, I like it.
Anybody ever do that? They actually something sitting in their head.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
So I can't think. We used to cover. Well, I'm going to actually stone it myself.
You can't. You have to kind of try to trick your mind into thinking what it was.
Yeah, I know roughly where it is. It's just trying to remember the name. Oh, I do know the name. I was looking at the wrong place, so let's have a look under G's. It's not B, it's G. This is not a thing. It's getting remade just now. Right, it's just something.
It doesn't matter. As long as Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in charge of it, it'll be fine.
There, it's there. F-E. It's up here. I'll get it now. I know where it is. Right, used to talk. It used to. Stop leaving dead air.
I said it's fine. It's all right. Phoebe Waller-Bridge will take it over. She's screwed up. She's going to screw up. She's screwed up the female Indiana Jones. Now she's going to screw up the male Indiana Jones. Sorry, she screwed up the male Indiana Jones. She's now going to go and screw up the female Indiana Jones, Lara Croft.
No, she ain't doing that, is she?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, TV series of Lara Croft, Tomb Raider with Phoebe Waller. Disaster area.
Great band that
Yeah.
was. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. Basically, you can guarantee it's and accordingly, she's going to actually be raiding museums to give the stuff back.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Museum Raider. Repatriate the stuff to the people that don't.
Alex Arena.
What?
I remember.
Galaxina.
Yeah,
That was
Galaxy.
the one that just basically when Melvin had mentioned it, that was the one I was thinking when he actually mentioned the space versions from Planet X. It was the comic strip stuff. They did that. And that reminded me of that one.
Yeah.
And they're remaking that.
No. That's what I said. That's nothing to do with remakes. This is just that we were. He mentioned the movie, the comic strip, because we were talking about comic strips, and that's what reminded me of that one.
As opposed to a certain well-known text adventure game regarding one of the moons of Mars. It's the leather goddesses of Phobos.
No idea.
As we said earlier, anything with Caroline Munro gets my vote.
I've got Star Hike is Claudia Christensen, isn't it? Is it Star Hike Claudia Christensen?
I don't know.
I just had to put all that back. So sorry, it seems two people sitting in the channel see me walk away and still leave it with dead air.
We just need a tumbleweed going across the screen.
Yes.
Oh,
What
so,
we'll do is we'll start.
Everybody was
finishing
interested
off.
in watching you walking.
We'll start finishing off. Right. So, what have you got coming up apart from? Because I know we're going to mention about Wednesday shortly, but you had an announcement about your channel.
Yeah, FFSI will be moving their live streams to Mondays now due to personal reasons with me. So that's where it's going to be. It's going to be called, most shows will be called Monday Nights with FFSI. Same time, same channel, really.
Yeah. So just keep an eye out for it. So it's no longer a Tuesday, you moved it to the Monday.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Are you on any other channels this week coming up? Apart from Wednesday, as I said, we're going to cover the Wednesday prior to finishing.
Not particularly. I don't get invited anywhere.
Colin, obviously you're actually busy up until Castles and Crusades at the end of the month.
Well, Simon, I don't know what the no, this weekend I'm away this weekend, so I won't be doing anything. Even if the Nerd Father's back, I won't be on that because I'll be in Wales. No, nothing particular. I'm going to be on in a few chats here and there, no doubt, but
yeah.
Other than that,
I was planning to do a trick, but I decided because my screen is too. You would be able to see it. See, if my screen only captured from there, I would have been able to do it. But because the screen is wider than that, right? I'll tell you why. It was going to be something really silly. Right. Mentioned about my hat before, haven't I? Right. My new Porky. However, I ordered it online well before Christmas. And it didn't turn up. So I kept contacting them. They says it's out for delivery. It should be there. It should be there within a few days. A week later, contact them. Eventually, they says, listen, do you want a refund? I says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you until next Monday. If it doesn't turn up, we'll get a refund. So I got a refund and I took the money, went out and bought a hat, which was different. It was slightly different. The pictures showed it as a grey hat instead of a black hat. So I thought, excellent. The other one was, it looked nice, but just something a wee bit different because I've got a couple of black hats that would work. And I decided I mean. So 3 days later, a hat turned up. I thought, very quick. I opened it, no problem. 2 days later, a hat turned up. Turned out the one that I got the refund bar turned up, but they didn't hand it to me. They just left it outside in my front. Could have been lifted by anybody. They just put it down in my front. And I've got a main road, so there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people. They just left it in the garden. I'm sitting there thinking, really? And I thought, here's the matter. The two hats are different. I opened it, and the two of them were freaking identical. So what I was going to do is going to have one sitting off there, and then what I was going to do is go throw it off, and as I did that, just lean over and go like that. I decided no, because it's just, you know what I mean? I would have literally had to have something sitting there so I could just go as if I'd grabbed it, as if it had spun round, because I could have actually thrown it and went and followed it round and then just go do and kill it and bring it in. I thought I would have looked good, but then I realised
It needs to be a bowler hat to do that.
I would have had to literally build up something to that point. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't put it down, so I would have had to have it high up, which means I would have had to build something up here so I could go like that as if I'd caught it as it flew around my room. But two hats, I've got two identical hats now. I like them. It's a nice hat. It's not my fedora, and I bought a fedora for my nephew because he tried to steal my fedora. And he says, I don't know why he said it, but he says it looks cool. And I think it looks very cool. However, that's for if I'm wearing a suit or a shirt and tie or whatever. That is for when I'm stoating around, walking about with a t-shirt on or a jumper or whatever. My casual and my formal. And that's just for the winter. Wait until the summer comes in and I've got all my other ones. You know me in hats. I've done a wee thing about my hats. I've got about 20 hats. That's including my helmet. And I've got berries as well. So I've included everything. So I do like them. However, I've not seen that one, Peter. Not seen that one. Sounds funny. What's this one?
I've got a few. Most of mine are medieval kit hats. Although they still wear one, modern day.
I've just got my Peaky Binder hats in mine.
Oh no, I do like my hats, and although my fedora, I've got a white fedora and I've got a straw fedora. They're my summer hats. So
one day I'm going to get a bowler hat so I can come on screen like this.
I've got one up there. I've got a bowler. So
I want to get a grey one. That's what I want to do.
A grey one's different. I've got the black bowler. I've got that as part of like. And as you saw with Briscoe, I've got my cowboy hat. I was tempted to change things in my channel. Like say, right, we're only having X amount of hours. Because when we started we would go 6 hours, 6.5 hours. But I was realising I'm getting too old and I'm going.
Yeah, good point.
So I decided 3 hours, but I thought as long as I don't need to actually tell everybody 3 hours, because sometimes everything's going great and you don't want to break it up saying, all right, we've got 10 minutes. We just started a conversation that might last a half an hour. I didn't want to actually limit it. And then I thought, well, I've got all these hats. Why don't I wear a different hat every week? And I thought, yeah, because there'll be certain hats I want to wear all the time.
Well, I was doing back when I was working temping on building sites. I had a job reasonably localish, and you had to get your when you signed in each day, you got your photo signing. And I was going to think, okay, literally have a different hat each day. But unfortunately, the job only lasted for about 3 days, and then got moved somewhere else, so it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
But,
Well, basically, these are my new hats compared to the video. When I did the video, I didn't have these
has
two.
that still got a label attached?
This one still has
Yeah,
a label.
I
Because
thought
that's
so.
the
Yeah.
other one. Because I've got the other one I use. This is the new one. It's got the label attached. It's fairly inexpensive, but recommendations, as I did when I was purchasing them, because I bought a hat and a dozy ass left it at the airport. Don't leave stuff at the airport, because you try to contact them, the lost and found, just contact the lost and found. There's never anybody there, so the phone rings and rings, and then anytime I've been at the airport, it's either been first thing in the morning or last thing at night. It doesn't open until like 10, 11 o'clock, and you're missing it, so you can't get into the airport to get to it. You can't drive in, park, nip over, because it's costing you about £4 or £5. The hat was a fairly expensive one, but I keep trying to phone him every so often, just in the off chance, because I left it at the airport like right ass. So what I do like my hats. So they're inexpensive, and that's the good thing about it. And I can't even remember where I was going with this conversation before I started talking about being a diddy.
Something about why the label's in it.
Oh no, the label was in it because I've got two of them. I do like my hats. However, one of my was telling us that obviously hats went out of style because of cars. Because cars with the roof, it was hitting people's hats, so people stopped wearing hats, right? And they're now saying that the good thing about the way they're going with 2030 and nobody owns anything, nobody drives, we all might have hats and they might actually start copying me.
Well, I'm like that. I've always liked wearing a hat. I mean,
I like wearing
Good one, Peter. Good one, Peter Harron.
Yeah.
I mean, the only ones I
get ahead, get a hat.
Yep, I'm the only one I don't particularly like. Personally, I don't particularly like baseball caps. I mean, I understand them; they're effective.
I've got Harley Davidson one. I've got one from Prague. I've got one from Critical Role.
Wow.
I was going to buy a I was going to buy a Ripperverse one, but I got the T-shirt and they didn't have hats at the time. If they had hats, I would have bought a hat instead. Baseball caps are not an issue during the summer because they need something.
I understand the practicality, but I've still got a couple. I think were part of my uniforms at Legoland. But it's just not one I personally don't particularly. I prefer something that
where my conversation was going. I remember where my conversation was going. Believe it or not. Right. So, as I said, when I got the hat that I lost, I was in the shop going, getting one that fit. There was a couple there. They were sort of sitting up here, and I thought, right, they're out. I'm not Oliver Hardy. And then, and the other one fitted, and it was a wee bit big. But they always say get a hat it's a wee bit big rather than a wee bit small. So it was comfy. It sat in the head, but all I thought was, if the wind catches it, it is gone.
Yeah.
So they tell you to get one of these and to measure round your head, above your ears, literally just over your eyebrows. And I measured mine, and I've got a big head. And it is 59 centimetres. So when I ordered it...
What's that in English?
59 centimetres is 23 inches. Right?
Wow.
And I get 7 3/4, the measurement they use for it as well. But so I did the conversion, so I got the right hat. And see now, nice and comfy. And if it's windy, I don't feel as if it's going to go off my head. I would recommend if you're getting a hat, do the proper measurement. Don't assume, well, I've got a large head, I'll get a large hat. Because my nephew tried to steal it, and he kept putting it on, and it looked like Parrot Face Davis because it just went over his ears, and it was just that big. He just basically sat and And I thought he liked the hat, so I ordered a fedora for him, small, and sent it.
What I found, what I found, the problem I found was exactly that. Is that when I used to get my hair cut, and my haircut was my hair was quite short. It was great. It was short enough. It would actually hold the hat on. It would actually act almost like not really short hair, but I used to put a number 4 with it, and it would be short enough. It was almost like Velcro, because that's too much. The hat gets a bit loose, and if it gets the slightest bit of wind, you do get blown over a bit. Yeah, it's not that good at all. But I do like hat. But again, I said, I mean, because the other thing is with the hat. The other thing is with the hat, with one good thing again with a decent hat with a decent brim is it keeps off your eyes.
Yeah, keeps the sun off your eyes. See, like this, as I said, that's my winter hat because it's dark, and it's basically, it keeps my head a bit warm. It's a nice fit, so the wind, and I use that for more formal when I was out. However, I do like this. This is just, I don't need to worry about the sun. So it's a wee pork pie hat. It's comfy on the head. It keeps the top of my head warm. My hair's not going to be an issue for it, but it's comfy. I don't feel, it was windy a bit today, and I didn't feel as if I had to do that just to make sure I didn't lose it. It was on the head. It wasn't flying off, so I was okay with it. Yeah, Parrot Face Davis. That's the one. My nephew looked like wearing the hat. The hat was away down, and he's in his ear. So I bought him the smaller one, so it fitted him. I try to be nice sometimes, not often, but sometimes. So the thing is, during the summer, I've got fedoras with the small brim, and I've got the fedoras with a large brim. I've also got my Doctor Who one, which is the fedora, the bigger one, Tom Baker one. But I do like them because they're comfy on, they are the right measurements, and they keep the sun out the eyes. And I get headaches if the sun's too bright, so that's why I like wearing the hat, right? And that's why I don't have an issue with a baseball cap, because it's the same idea. So I used to wear baseball caps because trying to get hats was a wee bit more difficult, because anytime I ordered one, it felt as if I was actually wearing the hat. It just sort of sat on the top of the head and didn't do anything. So that's why I started measuring and getting the correct one.
I only wear baseball caps when I'm cycling. I don't actually wear them for anything else.
Peter, if you want to see my hats, there's a wee video called Hats on my channel. It's just me going like that and swapping all my hats, and I end up with my helmet on. I start off with a wee Glengarry, and then end up and it's the hats. It's just a wee stupid thing. It would have been classed as a short, which I wish somebody would actually explain it. See the shorts, right? If I go on my phone, and I can see, if I go into my channel and see the 2 shorts are there. So I can upload a short from, so you're effectively saying you can upload a short from your phone. But if I go in and create a wee video, edit it, and then want to upload it from my computer, there's no option, upload short.
Yeah.
Even though it's like 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and you could do more than the 15 seconds. And I wish, and everybody mentions these shorts, because there's a couple of shorts I've got. It's because I was thinking of doing a shorts review. So just basically going on saying, right, I've watched this with County Junior. You need to actually watch it because of this. And it's only like 30 seconds or a minute. Just a wee short just of all the old programs I watch, because I watch so many every week. And a wee short just as a wee quick review without me sitting there going, and it's this and does that, or with it. And you know what it's like, because if you need to actually, you've got a minute or less than a minute to actually review something, it's fast talk. There's no time for hesitation. You just tell how it's going. So I thought I'll start doing shorts, and then I thought, I need to actually sit with my phone. And
that reminds me, we should do a tribute show to Just a Minute, where you spoke hesitation.
Yeah, that works, but it depends who you're talking to, because some of us can actually keep talking and talking and talking and not have an issue at all about actually hesitation or even going anywhere. We can just keep going and going and talk about my hats, talk about my figures, talk about my DVDs,
Or even
talk
taking a
about my
breath.
feet, talking about the breath, not even actually having an issue. And us Scots, as Daniel will be able to tell you, we're actually better at that type of thing than you guys. So we could talk and talk and talk. I mean, my sister, she used to actually see if there was a pause in the conversation, she would fill it and she would tell you a life story before the bus actually came there. So she would keep going like that. And none of our family are like that. We're all actually quite reserved and we actually leave spaces to breathe in and out. So we could.
Well, Peter can host it, really.
Did you get bounced?
I didn't press the button.
I didn't press the button. I was talking, so
I didn't press the
I'm a
button.
guy. I can't talk and actually use my hands at the same time.
I didn't press the button.
But as I said, that if it's a thing for no hesitation,
Well, you can host it.
I can literally talk if I need to.
Yeah.
But when I actually am trying to do a review, the problem is I'm trying to talk about the review and I'm trying to remember and think. So there's pauses and it's and I try and cut bits of that out because sometimes there's a thing, but we just keep going. And telling Daniel, it's a Scottish thing. It's a Scottish thing. So we can actually just go, right, any conversation whatsoever, go. And we'll just actually talk a load of rubbish about it and we'll just keep going and going and going and going. Hence the reason why I've got a channel. Saves my wife having to listen to me. So, but I find it fun. But I try to create I was thinking about doing shorts and then I tried to do the upload and nope. The short, because it tells you on it is go into your, even on the PC, go into it, do create short, and there is no option for creating a short on the channel. So does that mean I have to do it on my phone? And that's the problem. I don't want to sit there and go and record stuff on my phone and upload them. I want them done properly, and I want them, if I need to edit now and put my logo and stuff like that on it, and
Yeah.
I mean, but you can't. Or else, if I can, I would need to record it, then take it into like maybe Messenger, and then clip it down, add the bits on, then upload it to Messenger. So I've got it on my phone, save it on my phone, then upload it. It's crazy if you can't do that. But that's just me. But if you want to see my hats, check the video. If you want to see the two shorts I've got, one's about my K9 and Buddy, when I had Buddy as a pup, hating it because they would drive forward. There's another one with the two dogs with their Batman outfits fighting, and I've just put a wee I'm Batman.
Batman.
So I put that over the top of it. It's a good. The thing is, Peter, we can all do it. There's very few people who can talk and talk. There's a few who are very reserved in general. We're talking about in general because there is. I know a lot of Scottish people who are very reserved and they don't just go. My sister, we used to say that she could talk for Scotland because she did. She just as she was growing up, she did not like a gap in a conversation. She felt as if she couldn't sit in quiet. So you would be sitting talking and you would actually say, right, I'll have a cup of tea. And as you're picking up the cup of tea, there's a lull. As you would normally do. So you'd normally sit and wait. If you're somebody's having a tea, then they would finish the story. However, she didn't like that lull. So we always used to say, see if you're talking and you breathe in, she would step in and fill that gap. So she would talk and talk and talk. But you could meet her at a bus stop and you see the bus coming. As you're running to the bus stop, you see the bus coming. And by the time you stop there, she'll have told her life story before the bus actually turns up at the bus stop. Talk. But that's my sister. And we just always used to slag her about it. But as you can see, it's a family trait. We all It's just that she was better at it than us. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is very unclear. There's things it says you can do, but doesn't show you how to do them. Disney automatically switch them on. So I didn't know if you couldn't do shorts because you have to be monetized. But see, sitting in the fence with an opinion is sword because the fence is usually sharp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 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 oh. I do that about football. I sit in the fence and laugh at either side.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Because half my family are Rangers supporters, the other half are Celtic supporters. So I sit in the middle and laugh at both. You know what I mean? So Rangers win. Celtic, they win as well, look. Or else the other way around. Look at them, they won, Rangers.
I was speaking to Jim earlier, and he was watching the England versus Scotland rugby match, and talking to him on the phone, and he's going, "Damn, Scotland scored."
It's just, the thing is, I used to sit and watch. My daughters would watch the World Cup, and then they would actually ask me about, and I'd say, I don't know.
Sports,
And they say,
sports,
"You're not watching it because Scotland's played." No, it's football. What do I want to care about football?
Yeah.
I literally, people could actually talk to me about football, and it goes in there, straight out there, because they can ask me. They can ask me 2 seconds after they've told me something about the football, and it's gone. I have got zero interest in football and sport.
I don't remember, but my parents used to told me that, somewhat giving my age away here as if I haven't before. When the '66 World Cup was on, apparently I was at a friend's birthday party instead, rather than watching '66 World Cup.
See, I was only 3, so.
Yeah. And
I actually tell a lie. I was 1. I was 1, so I was actually cramped my pants. Somebody says England scored, and I went, but then again, somebody said anything. I would have did that as well. So I was 1.
So was it the?
Because when in '66 was it played?
Yeah. It's like the joke with the Germans: 2 World Wars, 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup.
So when was the '66 match played? What month?
Probably June, July.
June, July. So yeah, I would have been 1. I would have been 1.
Because I remember. I'm in slightly older UPJ, so I was in theatre. I remember when I'm trying to work out. I think it would probably be in the 84 World Cup. Was a big fuss with the Argentinian.
We're on the march with Ali's army.
No,
We're going to the Argentine.
Yeah, the big fuss about Madonna or whatever his name was, punching the ball or something.
We're going. And
I'm thinking, so I don't care if Argentina beat England. We beat them 2 years ago when it mattered.
Yeah.
Who cares about a football match? We beat them when it mattered.
Yeah, we saved an island for the penguins to shoot.
As well is another thing which is hilariously funny. Right. England have got this big. Scotland has got a big rivalry with England, but England's got a big rivalry with Germany. Germany's got a big rivalry with, I think it's the Netherlands.
Holland,
the Netherlands got a big rivalry. The people who you think are your rivals don't think it's you as their rivals, and that's the thing. So Scotland's big rivals are England, but England don't care because their big rivals are Germany, and Germany don't care because their big rivals are, and it's that kind of thing. It's each country has got their own rivals, and there's none of them. It's reciprocated because they've got other rivals, and that's the thing. And it's funny if you was it Al Murray? He did the thing about, and he was talking about how because he used to do the one about we win a war, you name a country, and we'll tell you how.
You name a country, we've beaten it. Yeah.
But he was talking about the football as well, and it was his. He was basically saying, "Aye, Scotland. We think Germany's big rivals, but Germany don't. They actually think so-and-so's the big rivals, and they don't care because they think so-and-so's the big." And it went round in a circle, so nobody actually had a reciprocal rivalry. They would just basically. the people they thought was our rivals was the big thing, but the other person didn't care. It's like if Scotland and England played and Scotland beat England. Yes! But if England beat Scotland, England would be going, oh, we won. It's not the same. They would be cheering because they win. It didn't matter it's against Scotland. Whereas if they'd won against Germany, no, and it's stupid. When you think about it, it's stupid. It's only a game, as they say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, it's unimportant. I had a choice to be actually football on the TV every day or just sitting and switching my TV off. That's okay. I'll sit and switch my TV off. I can find something more interesting than watching football. You know what I mean? I could sit and actually brush I could sit and brush my hair. More interesting than watching football. And that's a quick game.
Yeah, my family used to be all into more into athletics. I used to think it quite funny that they reckon that the females in my family were more into sports in particular than I was.
Remember those World Cup books you used to get? Was it Pirelli?
No,
Pirelli, wasn't it? It was Pirelli books. I remember them as well. Sorry, Colin, I interrupted you.
I said it always makes me. I mean, I think my mum, my sister, and my nieces probably a lot more into sport in general and football than I am. Yet they reckon women aren't into football. So no, I genuinely have absolutely smeggled interest in sports ball at all. I'm not even that bothered about things like archery, and I do archery. But
sports at all, I have no interest in. No. And I'm laughing at Daniel. He's the youngest here. He'll be 28 in April.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel. I'm 30 years older than you. Because I'm 58 this year. So
my youngest
a couple of more years, I'll be double your age.
My youngest niece is 23. Was 23 this year, or 24 this year. 23, 24, 2000. No, 23 this year.
Christ almighty, my youngest is actually older than Daniel.
Yeah, so my youngest niece is 23 this year.
Yeah. So 50, 31, 33, 35 is my three. My youngest is 3 years old.
Oh, my dad.
So that's how old I am, sunshine.
That's quite different. I mean, my old
as well. He said about he chose Everton because of the white boots. I chose Rangers because my brother was a Celtic supporter. If my brother was a Celtic supporter, a Rangers supporter, I would have chosen Celtic. It's basically whatever he did, I did the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no interest in even back then. I'd basically went to one football game and I was bored and I was going up and down the stairs going, can I get something to eat? Can I go up there? I had a Rangers scarf that I lost. It was my mine. I'd borrowed it from someone, but I didn't care enough about it, so I just basically didn't care enough. But I was more interested in going to get a pie.
I remember my late father when I was a kid.
I know, Brian. We're actually be finishing off 13 minutes ago. We went on to a subject, so we're giving it another 5 minutes.
My late father took me to a local football match, and I think I remember finding a hole in the fence and sneaking out, and going shopping, and not going back. I was a teenager, I was.
Yeah. But no, see, I was just never into football. As I said, I was. The only reason I supported Rangers was because my brother supported Celtic. And you know what my dad did, which I only found out, believe it or not, about 15 years ago, was I was growing up, my dad was always a Clyde supporter. He supported the Clyde, that was it. He didn't actually bother about Rangers or Celtic. Because my brother was a Celtic supporter, I was a Rangers supporter, just to piss him off. But the two of us had.
Hold on a minute. Doesn't that mean that technically one of you should be a Catholic?
Technically, aye. But the thing is, I only found out about 15 years ago my dad was never a Clyde supporter. He liked Clyde, don't get me wrong, but he was a Celtic supporter. He didn't want to tell the two of us in case it made us decide what team to support. He wanted us to support whatever team we wanted to, and he never told us until we were adults and out the house. Then it was like 15 years ago they were watching the game, and I says, Clyde's not playing. He says, I actually am a Celtic supporter. And that's basically a Protestant coming from a Protestant Italian and a Protestant Irish.
My dad was a Spurs supporter. So my mum used to follow Spurs just because Dad used to.
But that's what I'm saying. So it was just one of those things. Half of my family's Rangers supporters, the other half are Celtic supporters.
Which is quite an interesting connection actually, because Tottenham Hotspur do actually get the name from the historical Hotspur character.
Yeah, bloody families all bleeding West Ham supporters. That's why I don't like football.
I don't like
Well,
football.
I know people in the chat are Celtic supporters and they don't know anything about football either. Sorry, Daniel. Oh, yeah. Throw things. I was a Celtic supporter as well. But I basically do the same with my nephew, my brother-in-law and stuff like that. I'll say the same stuff to him about Rangers side. Basically, I like, as I said, I sit in the middle because I don't care about either, and I just actually have a wee go. But it's fun.
Well,
The good thing is, I know Daniel, he'll just actually slag me back, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, the way I look at it is fine. I mean, people enjoy it, fine. You know, and to be honest, it's much better to sit there and have a rivalry over football than a rivalry over something more serious.
Like darts, cricket,
war. You know,
war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Oh no! Oh God, sorry. Don't get me started.
Yeah, it's like
lots of things. Depending upon your definition of the word good.
It's like there's a song by the Baronites and they take the mickey about Iraq and they say we send over the Millwall supporters to sort the problem out.
Well done.
Yeah. We know Millwall's got a reputation.
Yes. What always got to me about sport is, okay, fine, so you do this. You play that exact same game.
That's true. It's all good fun until you get beat by Derby. It is the case. It's
why would you be wearing a Derby hat
until somebody beats you? You don't want to be slagged about. I can imagine the Aberdeen supporters when they get beat by.
Sorry, isn't
Darvel this couple of weeks ago. Darvel's the wee village 3 miles down the next village along, and they beat Aberdeen. I can imagine Aberdeen were actually going down because
it's the answer to that simply not to wear a Derby. Don't wear a Derby hat.
No idea.
Well, no,
it could be a Derby Jones.
But you do that. You play that exact same game, the exact same people 24 hours later, and you'll get a different result.
Of course you will.
But you know, it's not the best. It's who's the best at that time of the day. You know.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to show you a funny clip at the end of the show.
Right. So we're going to finish up. Right. So, as I said earlier, when the guys were actually saying Wednesday, 8 o'clock on both of our channels, FFSI and PG Maybe, we are doing a joint stream. And to make sure none of the two of us are in charge, we're hoping to have Sadaku guiding us.
Oh, yes.
So he'll be the one taking charge of the channel. We'll just actually be in the side going,
That's all right. We might have we might have a visitor from the Holy Land on as well.
I'm sure you will.
May well be interested in coming in and possibly getting on the stream because I keep whinging at him about mentioning Captain Scarlet. However, yes.
So, watching me back Captain Scarlet before Wednesday. come in and join. It's basically we're talking about the puppets, not the animated, the CGI one.
Colin will be.
No, all I would say was which is the only show, in my personal opinion, which is as good as the original.
Yeah, the thing is, there's been
I'm
a
not
couple
gonna-
of things that were actually the animation, the CGI and all that animation works.
Captain Cowardice.
That's a good one.
Actually, we should get a certain a certain other YouTuber on. And they could be Captain Beige.
And Lindy,
Lindy Beige! Captain Lindy Beige! Totally neutral. He hasn't done much recently, unfortunately.
well, it's in this. I'm going to get to Captain Black.
Hmm.
Oh, technically, that's in this. I'm going to get to Captain Black. I could wear a baseball cap, but I don't have anything that's have more.
Are you gonna make yourself tired looking in all this and that?
Hmm.
I just need to actually not go to sleep in the afternoon,
Yeah.
have my wee nappy nap.
Yeah.
So until next week, Let's Talk Geeky. Join us on Wednesday for Captain Scarlet. Have a look at it, have a go. So until then, boys and girls, lads and lassies, from myself and the guys, remember, we're not old. We're
Daniel.
classic. PJ maybe and the guys out. Night.
Night.